Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Danced him.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
All right. The crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha, everlevelconcrete.com.
Sure is.
New idea.
Okay.
All right.
Happy New Year.
I have a new idea.
Get rich quick scheme.
This
Here it
is-
comes.
Now, I don't know what this looks like, but we're going to figure it out right now.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
This is great.
Listen closely.
Yeah.
Quiet Vegas.
I love this idea.
Tell me more.
So what we need is a place that has all of the great restaurants. We need a place that has a lot of entertaining events, a lot of concerts, a lot of sporting events. We also, though, coherently also need a place that you can gamble as well. You can spend a lot of money.
It's all the same, just Vegas, but silence.
We need to make an age limit for it. We need more in particularly.
Oh, like a minimum.
We need a minimum.
You need to raise the minimum.
We would need to raise the minimum.
Okay.
Old Vegas would need to be.
So like 32.
That's exactly what I thought. 32 to but I think there needs to be a maximum as well.
No, the old people aren't loud.
I think they're
in the way, though.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh.
They're plentiful.
Where are you going?
They're just go too slow. We need people who can walk.
You go too
relatively
slow.
Why is
fast.
it you take yourself out of this?
I'll wait. I will wait. I will gladly.
He will save himself for Quiet Vegas.
I will gladly, patiently.
Glad you're saving
sit
yourself
down.
for something.
I told you. Look, I'll tell you this right now. When we walked in here off the air, I'm done with the young people.
You are.
I am done with the 21-year-olds.
This is a great revelation.
I'm done with the 22-year-olds. You're right. They're too loud. They're immature. They're running around. They get too drunk. They're touching me. Don't touch me. All right? Don't touch me at the bar.
They're touching you?
They're like, oh, man, I love you. You're such a great guy. I'm so sick and tired of them.
You're tired of that? That's interesting.
I know. Well, I mean, just the drunk dudes being like, oh, you're such a great guy.
Oh, so the human contact is you're just the
He wants
bro.
the drunk girls.
Yes.
You want less bro touching.
Less bro touching would be
Yeah.
great.
But
That's
you can make that
understandable.
happen and not fundamentally change society.
Mm.
You know, like you could make that happen just by your own volition. You could say, just less dude touching.
yeah, I could probably wear a sign. Be like,
What
walk
an
around.
incredible
But
sign.
instead, we have birthed a new city.
Okay.
Quiet Vegas.
I think we should just take Marco Island, Florida, and we should just add casinos to it. It's a great,
I have been
great
watching
town.
Paradise.
great town.
You said at the end of last week?
I finished the first season.
You're like,
Whoa.
I got to get in on this show. Everyone's talking about it.
It's phenomenal weather. You got good beaches, great golf courses. We just need to
Oh,
add.
and Marco Island. I'm talking about Paradise. I want to go. So basically, what happens in that show, kind of spoiler alert, but not really,
Who cares?
is they build a city under a mountain.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So
Didn't gather that from the promotional material.
you wouldn't be able to tell. Quiet Vegas under a mountain.
mountain.
And it's in Denver or outside of Denver in the mountains. And it's closer.
I like that. So we can smoke weed. Be great. You get
There's,
both.
I mean, it's its own thing, really.
Okay.
So is
Wait,
this
this
like-
is,
so
this
is-
is Paradise or this is Quiet Vegas?
Paradise and Quiet Vegas.
Oh,
And
you're
basically
combining it both.
yeah.
Okay.
Is Quiet Vegas like the silent disco where you get there and you put headphones on and the only thing you're hearing is what's going through the headphones?
No, and what we should say is it's not silent Vegas, it's just quiet Vegas.
It's Vegas with a
it's-
little decorum.
It's just if Vegas is
So no bachelorette parties, no white girl
if Vegas
wooing,
is
none of that.
100
That's gone.
decibels,
out.
no. It all stays the same. I love the whimsical. I love the nature of Vegas. If Vegas is 100 decibels, I want Quiet Vegas to be 50 decibels.
Yeah.
I don't understand that you're gonna get the 50 if you say the stuff.
Just
you
everybody
say
be
it.
just be a little bit quieter.
I feel like
Do you maybe just want to go back in time to
I was
1960?
I was about to say it
I
just
don't
sounds
think
like
it was quieter.
Okay.
was it quiet in Joe Pesci's casino?
No.
Okay.
like
Yeah,
Rat
It's
Pack,
louder.
like
Okay. Yeah, no. I think Happer
No.
It's
all the-
routinely been
think about-
rowdy and loud.
Think about how many motors were running in the 60s.
all right.
They
Poll
were-
question,
all the
were there a lot of
cars,
motors
They were
running
too
in the
loud.
60s?
Yeah.
So only Teslas.
We
or
have
only
gotten quiet as a
quiet-
society.
only
quieter.
quiet.
What do you think those generators sounded like?
They were so loud.
So Happer wants Quiet Vegas to only have hybrid vehicles.
Well,
Only Priuses.
the vehicles don't make the difference, really. It's mostly the people and the.
I feel like you would have
Is there an
done.
application to get into Quiet
You
Vegas?
have to submit an application.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Or is
You
it a free-for-all?
No.
I'm not sure what the
And
qualifications.
then is
would
there a
be.
low threshold? Like
Yeah.
if you go over, you're out.
If you've ever been to Nashville, you can't go to Quiet Vegas.
That's good.
If you've ever,
I like that rule.
If you've ever traveled there, you already have compromised yourself to loud yelling and not being able to party without a lot of decibels. So you
Schaefer, you're out.
I've been to
You're
Nashville
out.
many times. I don't support this at all.
not allowed in Quiet Vegas. Mike. No, this is great.
you want to go to Quiet Vegas?
I mean,
I
I'm
don't.
not,
I think he's
I'm
indifferent.
not like seeking it out in the same way that apparently you two are, which you're hilarious.
I
You're-
can't. I'm done. I just.
You're
I can't.
23
I
looking to
can't do
create
it.
a paradise
Dude,
for those that are in their 30s.
And I'm totally and I will help create it and I will put it together and I will sit down and I will wait and I cannot wait. The nice thing about me creating Quiet Vegas is that I'll have to wait about 8 years to go there, which means that you guys will find all the flaws and fix them by the time I'm about
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
we'll
there.
take
That
care
or
of
the
you.
apex will already have passed, and by the time you enter it, it'll just be the downside, which is generally what seems to be what
You know
happens
what?
for younger people.
Based on like the clientele will have a Quiet Vegas. Well, by the time I get to Quiet Vegas, you're right. There'll be a lot of people. It's not what it used to be back in the day.
Back when it was loud Vegas?
Back
You caught on where I was going.
Back in the
here.
day, man, this place used to be $6 for beers. Now it's $7.50. I mean, this place has gone down the drain, man. They didn't do it like they used to do it. You're totally right. That would happen. Considering
All the
fact-
buffets are gone in Quiet Vegas.
Yes.
They've gone away.
I've never actually done the like a buffet in Vegas.
Whoa, really?
So that
Yeah.
the one
That's the
that
first thing
still
I feel
is
like I would do.
consistent,
There's too much other good food.
the one that is still consistently open is the MGM one.
Okay.
I believe it's every day but Tuesday and Wednesday. And their line is just rocking all the time.
Okay.
The fact that you know that is very funny
I
to me.
mean,
I just
our man knows a lot about MGM.
Well, here's the
I've been
thing.
there a lot.
I've listened to you talk about Vegas before, while you were in Happer and Schaefer, but while also before when you would just come and fill in. You're the off the strip guy. Like you know some off the strip.
I mean, I
places that you
do. I
recommend
know
to
things,
people.
but it's because other people have already done the research. I don't know anything inherently.
Okay, very good.
I just
yeah.
go on these trips, and other people have already booked the things, and then I go and do them, and then I relay them back to others.
Yeah,
Like,
he told us
I
to go to a
enjoyed this
restaurant
experience.
and we went to it.
and it was good.
It was good.
You steal like an artist. I appreciate
I
that.
don't- it's not even stealing. I just pass on recommendations that are good. This is what
So,
I do.
this is how it
I
works.
go and enjoy something, and then it comes up in a topic of conversation, and I'm like, hey, you should do this
you
if
should
you
do this,
haven't.
yeah.
I enjoyed it. You might not, but I liked it.
Okay, so Quiet Vegas in Florida. This is going to be.
or under a mountain. Or the other option,
I
like
want
the,
sunshine.
the doomsday option is this. You actually just take real Vegas and make it Quiet Vegas.
Yeah.
But that deletes loud Vegas,
but you
which
just,
would be a problem for a lot of people.
well, the problem though is that if you want to make if you want to turn loud Vegas into Quiet Vegas, you just continue to do what loud
you do that
Vegas is currently
internally?
doing.
I mean, I can have a quiet version of Vegas, as quiet as can be, which I'll be doing.
No,
this
but
week.
I like the idea of just having like a big old flashy sign that just is like Quiet Vegas.
Now when we
You just like the sign. You're
Yes.
big on visuals.
So
I
just for a
love
preview,
large
billboards.
clocks, for instance.
Large clocks. I mean, we need one. We need one, man. I mean, Josh and I have been flirting with death for a while with the clock. I mean, we have been getting
That does not surprise me.
really close.
I get my first run at the clocks on Friday. Well,
Yeah.
actually, really Thursday too.
You took a run at the clock.
Well, no, I'll have my first real.
He's in
opportunity
control.
to-
Yeah. Oh, you got the comm check off.
We might be hitting the mountain.
Oh Lord.
Dead on.
You won't be under the mountain. You'll be in the
No,
mountain.
we're not seeing paradise. We're going
Hey,
right into
by the way,
side.
it doesn't have to be right on the mark. You can hit it before. Just keep that in mind.
Well, no.
Just keep that in mind.
Josh and I.
Dead
it could be
serious.
an early exit.
You can hit it. You could hit it a minute, 2, 3, 4, 7.
Josh,
I don't think
Josh
so.
and I have been treating the clock like homework assignments earlier in the year, right? Early in the school year, you get your homework assignment done like at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You're right there. Like you're cool. We were taking our breaks with like 4 minutes to spare very early on. As the school year goes on, you get closer and closer to that, 12 a.m. deadline. That's what we've been doing.
I don't. You start at the 12 a.m. deadline. You don't. You need the manufactured pressure of the deadline to get your best work. This is how it happens.
Early in August, in like September, I was submitting assignments with like, oh my God, like I got time to spare, man. Like I got nothing to do. Maybe I'll get ahead of assignments. By the time we got to November, we were on the 11:55 p.m. deadline.
Some of
every
us live
single
there,
day.
And it's a great spot.
So
Just
anyway,
like Quiet Vegas.
It's the adrenaline rush.
It is.
okay, so you ready to get a big slice of loud Vegas?
Yes.
So Friday, John Bishop, John Bishop.
I'm aware. I actually, this is
Voice
the
of the
third.
Creighton Blue
This is the third weekend in a row that I met somebody who found out what I did and told me how much they love John Bishop. It happened. It's a weekend occurrence.
Let's go.
Point.
Let's go.
They actually liked you this time too. This is the first time you were added into the Gavia.
Surprising, but depends on which
They were
section
like-
of people you're talking
They were
to.
like, "How's John Bishop? How is John?" And I'm like, "He's great. Good
He's
guy,
the best."
whatever." He goes, and then they go, "God, I love that. What's it, Connor Happer? Love that Happer guy."
That's great.
Do they say Happer?
That's just me.
I kind of like it.
Terrific.
Happer.
Anyway, Friday, John will be doing his show from the loudest place on earth, Stadium Swim,
Oh,
Lord.
which is
when
exciting.
I think of swimming
Yeah.
and radio, John Bishop
Bishop.
is what
John
comes
Bishop,
to
yeah.
mind.
Yeah, maybe he'll have the camera out there and I'll take a dip.
Bishop seems like a swim shirt guy to me.
I don't think he goes in the pool much.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say he seems like he stays dry.
He stays dry.
Oh, we have,
But I'm
Joe and-
already envisioning the sunscreen that's a little more heavily applied
Yes.
to his nose than anywhere else.
He's very white.
Joe in Vegas tweets at us.
Joe last time threatened to get us a pizza
Joe in
when we were in Vegas. And it never happened.
Threatened?
Yeah, he goes, let me
Pizza.
bring
How
you a
can you-
pizza. And then he never brought
I
it.
Why
would
is that a-
love to be threatened with
Yeah.
pizza.
What is that's not a threat. That's
Well, it was a
great
good
word.
threat.
If you keep that up, I'm bringing a pizza.
It was a good threat.
I'll do it. I swear.
You
Joe-
are going to stare at that pizza in the face and think about what you said.
Joe in Loud Vegas
Yes.
tweets, "This crossover is the absolute dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Thank you.
These are the type of ideas that are percolating in a village the size of Omaha."
That is true.
Yeah.
I like it here because it's quiet. Somewhere middle America.
Great. Hey, great food though. Calandria told you.
That's right. He
Cool.
gets it.
We
And-
did discuss this.
Anthony, what a zag when everybody is zigging, right? Everybody's always talking about how great Lincoln is. How great, like, oh, I love Lincoln. I love Lincoln. I'm
Who's
here.
talking about this?
Matt.
Wait, wait.
This is why he's trying to get away from the 21
Yeah.
and 22
Where are you
year-olds,
getting
apparently.
this from? Who's telling you this?
Well, no. So he goes, Calandria said at the press conference, great food in Omaha.
No, I remember. I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
And every time like a
But
recruit,
who is telling you how good Lincoln is?
well, no. This is what I'm telling
Okay,
you.
okay.
That these new recruits, these new transfer portal guys, right? They get there, especially if they're from warmer climate, right? The first question is always, "Hey, how you liking the weather?" Right? Or how's the Midwest? Or how is this different than Miami? Right? They go, "Oh, I love Lincoln. This is great. Great college town, great people. You know, this is a great time. Love being here." And Lincoln's all, I didn't think Nebraska would be this good, but it's windy. It's a little windy. Weather's a little crazy, but I love Lincoln, right? That's what they always say. That's the company.
Come on.
Calandria going, "Oh, the food in Omaha is great." Incredible zag. Just be like, "Yeah, Lincoln's cool." But you know what? There's other cities in Nebraska that have great stuff. I like that.
I think is the correct take.
I think it's the best take. There you go. I kind of
That's not hard to figure out if you're a person with a brain.
What were you saying about? So John is going to be at Stadium Swim. Are you excited to see how he's going to?
No,
handle the
we
environment?
we did it last year. It's fine. It's just very loud there. It's incredibly loud. So I would do my midday show starting. It starts at 8 there, and for the first, I believe, hour or two of the show, they don't have the on.
Did they?
Yeah.
They
And
have
I
the
was like,
boots and
this
cats?
is the greatest thing I've ever done. And then they turn the on, and it's like, all right, can we turn that down?
You're not
And
a-
they're like, no, we can't turn it down. This
We're
is
turning
Vegas,
it up.
you idiot.
I actually
This is loud Vegas.
Look, I love going to a sport bar and watching a game at a sport bar. But if you work at some place that says that it's a sports bar, right? Like the title is Sport Bar and Grill. and I ask you to change the channel, or I ask you to, hey, adjust the TVs, don't be annoyed at me. Okay? Don't be annoyed.
Are you relatively new to going to sports bars?
I mean, yeah, because I've
It's
only
just
been
kind of the way of life.
I've only been allowed to go to sports bars for the last 2 years based on my age, So
you places that serve food you could be going to for a lot.
I just
longer.
didn't have the confidence though to be at a bar and tell people what to do before I turned 21. Now I have the confidence to do that. And
See,
they get really annoyed at me when I tell them, "Hey, I don't want to watch the Tomorrow War on TNT. The game ended an hour ago."
See, but like this is now, it's funny because this is kind of like baked into the experience now. While I agree with you that I don't know why that always happens.
They're always so angry.
It does, and like part of maturing is just like being like, yeah, I don't really care.
She's working
Yeah, I
hard.
don't really care if you're mad right now. It's just change the channel. That's all.
Okay. So Josh is going. Part of growing up is you just don't ask at all.
I'll just watch Everybody Loves Raymond. It's fine.
Yeah, that's not part of growing up.
That is, no. I
That's
won't do
waving
that.
the white flag, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't. I don't think I'll ever get to that point. You're just growing up.
What
It's
it
like
does, though-
okay, pissing people off.
It makes you appreciate the places where they have like good people that run their TVs.
Sure,
and they're
sure,
on
good
the
point.
ball. I like when I go to places and you're going for a Sunday ticket or it's a Saturday with college games, and they tell you what's going to be on the TVs. And they don't let someone else commandeer what's going to be on the TV.
Yes.
That's right.
Those are the places where I want to invest my money.
I don't need the
because
bar
I
thinking,
don't need to go somewhere.
Uh-huh.
The game is on that I'm watching. Some other guy sits down and decides we need a 17th TV on the same game that's everywhere else available. And then it becomes this like he switches it off of what I'm watching. That gets old.
Okay.
Or like Jags fan sits down and is like, hey, can we turn the TV to the Jags game? And they do it because he's been there for 90 minutes before everyone else because he's a Jags fan.
See, I know what you're saying, but I don't want to have a greater appreciation for a good place because other places are crap. I just want all of the places to be good.
See, that's
Like that's
the ignorance of youth.
You may not be familiar with society.
Yeah, you
I
have too
really
high
not.
expectations for these people.
For a sociology minor, my honor sociology minor, might I add, I really don't have a great grip on society. My expectations
How do you
are
think
too
you're
high.
going to stand out to your eventual wife if that should happen?
I don't think I'm going to stand out to
It's
my
going to
wife
be the
at all.
appreciation of you
I'm a-
relative to the other men that she's dealt with in her life.
Yeah, that's how it kind of works.
I am the most average male of all time.
And that'll put you above the people that aren't average.
I know it hasn't worked with that one chick. She just keeps dating terrible dudes. Sucks.
Well, I mean, you.
And then I'm not like
But
the,
why do you like her more than other chicks? Because she's better.
yeah, actually.
Exactly.
But I just keep being the
You just need someone to think
So
that
it
about
sure
you.
sounds like you're
Yeah.
you're
But the problem is
chasing after.
but I'm like the
up there.
rebound. I'm like the rebound without the kissing. I'm like the emotional rebound. It
That
sucks.
might be your value. to
No,
it.
I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. I'm out. Just like I'm out on Loud Vegas.
You're
Lot
the
of light-
non-threatening friend boyfriend.
I'm just-
a lot of sweeping life changes for Matt here.
Yeah, it must have been a monumental
I'm
week.
gonna
I'm a
be
little
honest with you.
concerned. How many walks did you go on?
You know what? I've been on
Has Chuck
Third-
Klosterman just reworked
Dude,
your brain?
Because
completely.
what
I've
happens is
become
when
way
you-
more apathetic.
You go on walks and you listen to Klosterman, all of a sudden, like
Yeah. This is what I do.
You
You're a
come to
couple
work-
bad relationships away from sitting at the bar by yourself reading Vonnegut.
This is the problem. I haven't had bad relationships and I'm already doing that.
You don't know who Vonnegut is.
No, but I'm just saying, like I'm already.
You've
I'm
never
already-
heard of Slaughterhouse Five.
You Happer putting it away where like you're going on too many walks and
yeah,
listening
what
too much
happens on walks,
Klosterman.
Matt? You get introspective.
Mhm.
I
Stop
do.
being so introspective.
I know. I think a lot about my life, and I'm just like I want to cut so much out. I'm just.
What kills me is the amount of people in their 30s that are like, man, I want to be 23, carefree, without any of the responsibility. And then you have Matt over here. I want quiet Vegas, and I'll wait 9 years to go.
Yeah. I've done so much fat trimming physically and mentally that it's just like I want to keep trimming the fat. You want to trimming
Makes
the
you feel
fat on
good.
the. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Like I literally had this thought. I'm like, I was thinking about my future groomsman. I was like, I might have too many friends. Might have to cut
you
back.
can pare
on
it
that.
down.
Promise
pretty
you
good.
it works its way.
Yeah.
It works its
It'll
way
figure
out.
itself out.
I don't have to accelerate that
You
process.
don't have to worry about it.
I have been going on a lot. I went on a 5-hour walk I became a member of the Omaha Zoo.
Oh, yeah.
Became an
Nice.
official member.
Very
I bought
good.
the season pass
Good job.
and I just went there for 5 hours and I walked around And the first time I
You
went,
did? You went to the zoo for 5 hours?
yeah, and I just walked. It
Oh
was
my
great.
God.
Were you listening to a book? the
I was
entire time?
listening to Klosterman and also Bob Seger.
Okay.
Nice.
And just I ran through Bob Seger's greatest hits playlist twice. And then
What did you conclude was your favorite from the Bob Seger
Night
catalog?
Moves. What?
Was this on Saturday when it was windy?
Yes.
Were you going against the wind?
I was against the wind actually multiple times.
Did you let the Cowboys ride?
No, but I did look at a Fire Lake, which was pretty
Okay.
great
All right.
in the Kingdom of the Night.
Were you a rambling, gambling man afterwards?
You know what? I already was. I already am. I really am a rambling, gambling human.
You're in that, you're in that spot. You're very close proximity to the casinos. I assume you get rambling and gambling after that.
I did not gamble after the zoo. Well, it.
What a sentence.
And I mean absolutely no one has said that sentence on this show. Any show that's been on this station ever.
I did
not gamble after the zoo.
I did not. Well, I was actually going to say
I did not have sexual relations.
I did it. That came up in the Klosterman book.
Of course,
I
you
mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
90s book.
It was a big part.
It was a massive part. Monica Lewinsky. What a woman.
It's actually a huge
What a
inflection point on our
woman.
nation's politics.
Yes.
So, well, I
Interesting.
learned a lot about this third-party candidate Perot. The
Ross Perot.
Ross
Okay.
Perot. Had no idea this guy existed.
I have
It
some
seemed-
SNL reruns for you to watch.
Yeah.
He
they
seems like
made
an
a good bit out
incredible-
of
He was a
him.
big part of the Weekly Reader when I was growing up.
Klosterman made him seem like a very influential person of the 90s.
I think its value was maybe not as.
Yeah, more of a sort of like a punchline.
I mean, there was a whole chapter on Ross Perot.
Yeah, no, I mean, it for like one election, there was a thought that maybe a third party candidate could win, and he sort of stood out for what he did in that regard.
Guy got 19% of the popular vote.
Yeah, no, I mean,
very impressive.
and it's still
I actually didn't know
19%.
that.
Yeah,
I'm a man of. I listen to the 90s and I'm like going in between of whether or not it'd be great in the 90s or whether or not it'd be bad in the 90s. Like I
It'd be
don't.
fine.
man,
I
I
think
lived
I'd
in the
be-
'90s, and I listened to this exact book that you're listening to, and I promise you that there's going to be more than Ross Perot that will stand
I
out by
can't
the time
wait.
you're done with it.
I cannot wait. This book is great. Now, granted, I'm making it out to be like I've listened to 8 hours of this book. I've only listened to 3, but I'm having a great time. While doing
So you listened to 3 hours of Klosterman and 2 hours of Seeger?
I listened
the
to
5 hour zoo
I
trip?
mean, 1 hour of Klosterman, 1 hour of Seeger, and then his AirPods were dead.
Yes.
Mm.
I actually left the zoo because my phone died. I was like,
Jesus.
phone's dead.
How is your
But
phone
yeah.
dying while you're at the zoo? I bet you're not taking photos of the animals.
I was, dude. The sea lion exhibit, didn't see it before. It was, dude, those sea lions are insane. They're performative.
They
Those,
are.
those
They are.
sea lions,
Matt
they
at
want
the
your
zoo,
attention.
they know people are there and
Matt
they
at
do
the zoo
tricks.
by himself, listening to Klosterman and Seeger and taking pictures of the sea lions
Honestly, now
with his
that you have
AirPods in, like he's Steve Bartman.
Well, it's actually,
it's one of the funniest things I've ever.
I actually
imagined.
don't have AirPods. I have wired headphones.
Bartman.
Yeah. So they're wired.
I think like so we're gonna join with the zoo and take Hudson because it's an easy way to
Yeah,
kill some
yeah,
time.
yeah.
I'm just gonna start sending you random texts, be like, going to the zoo. You want to?
I will meet you up there. I love the zoo. And I get the 5% discount now.
I would love to
on
see
all
you
the,
and
I bought a
Hudson
zoo
interact.
hat. I bought a rope zoo hat.
Really?
Yeah. The
Nice.
Omaha Zoo and Aquarium, and it's got a tiger on
It is the number one zoo.
I did go to the tiger exhibit. That dude, he was marking his territory.
What was your favorite thing?
The tiger. Like
Tiger.
I didn't see him before. The only other time I went to the zoo, he
We
wasn't
were
there.
tigerless for a little while.
Yeah, there's.
No.
Dude,
It's changed
I-
over quite a bit.
I
over
took
there.
a
After we
video-
had a tiger situation.
I took a video of this tiger. He was strutting.
Tiger had a situation.
What
That
happened to the tiger?
did.
What
Well,
did-
the other tiger.
What?
Well, we had
The
a tiger.
golfing tiger.
Yeah,
had a
golfing
situation.
tiger.
Oh, we'll talk about
But then
that.
we had that tiger.
Friday afternoon
I
blue.
feel like one of the tigers got after another one of the tigers or something like that.
I don't think having multiple tigers in one exhibit is probably the best idea.
Yeah, there was some.
It's unfair to the tiger to just be by himself all the time. too.
See, you know,
that is one of the things that I have that's my biggest moral quandary with the zoo.
there's
'Cause I
two-
want multiple of the animals
Yeah.
so they're not just by themselves.
they got 2 zebras.
Yeah,
It's the
well,
same 2 zebras every time. I
That-
don't think they have a third zebra. I think it's just 2 zebs, and they're just walking around.
Yeah, they're hanging out with the giraffes over there.
Well, I I did not know they had an indoor giraffe exhibit.
Yeah, the giraffes walk across the road.
and I went into the indoor exhibit.
Like a
it
train
actually,
track.
dude,
They shut
now
the road
I
down.
didn't. So the first time I went to the zoo, I made a bunch of like pictures and tweets and videos and stuff like that. And it was actually like my most popular engagement on
People love
Twitter
the zoo.
was people
We're very proud of it.
talking about the zoo. And I went the first time for 6 hours, and somebody was like, "You can't do the zoo in 6 hours. That's not enough time. Like you didn't like you gotta." There's a lot more to do in 6 hours. I was like, this guy's crazy. I spent 6 hours.
No, it's
at the
actually
zoo.
true. Yeah.
That guy was right.
Yeah.
That guy was totally correct. There was
That's why you have to get a
whole-
membership.
Yep.
You
Dude.
go back. This is how we do the zoo. We go for 2 hours, 5 times a year.
That's our plan.
Yep.
I think I'm going now that I have the membership. I think I'm going to go for 5 hours 10 times this year.
Look, let's go.
I
That's
have
a lot of zoo time.
I have no it's a
Well, he's
walking
just
path.
walking. That's
I'm
all
just
he's
walking
doing.
I love
and I'm
it.
getting the steps in, and like on your walk, you just go, oh, there's an animal that's typically seen in Africa. That's really cool. And you keep walking. You
What's
know?
the most random musical act we think that Matt will listen to while walking amongst?
I
the
did
zoo?
listen to the Nevermind album because I was listening close.
He's gotten into this.
Will
yeah.
he get into some more deeper 90s stuff
Okay.
after the Klosterman book?
I already like 70s music. Like I already
Like
kinda
maybe he gets
regularly
into the
listen to
Garth
that.
Brooks alter ego.
Oh,
Chris
what was
Gaines?
his name? Chris Gaines. Yeah.
Who's that? Is
He's
that Chip
Garth
and Joe,
Brooks'
Chip
alter
and
ego.
Joanna?
It's
No.
going to be a chapter in your book.
Really?
You're
Oh,
going to
great,
laugh
great.
real hard.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm
Much
I'm
bigger
excited.
deal than Ross Perot. I'll point
Really?
that out. Yeah.
Does Chuck Klosterman does This Week in Women's History in his book? Does he do that?
No, but he talks about.
You could go through the name. Oh man, now I got to go through that book and cross off the names because he'll know who they are.
We haven't gotten there yet. The only woman he's talked about was Cobain's girlfriend, and I
Courtney Love.
Yeah, I forget. There you go. I forgot.
Somewhat significant.
Why was that? Why was that funny? to
He's
you?
just pretty famous.
Forgot. her
She was
name.
famous in her own right. You
Yeah.
probably didn't know that, which is fine actually.
She was in that like chick band or whatever.
Hole.
Yeah. Totally forgot.
Variety of other things.
I know.
What's this, Josh?
Got breaking news into the desk here. This is fresh off the
Is
wires.
it about Ross Perot?
Sunday, September 6th, Nebraska volleyball will play the Missouri Tigers at Wrigley Field.
Whoa! Let's go. We're taking a trip.
Oh, we are, aren't we?
Danny Busboom Kelly's never-ending saga to try and never play at the Devaney Center again, working perfectly.
They're just a road tour now
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
conference play.
I will be there. I will be there. We are going. We should. This is great. We talked about this with Bishop because it's John and I are separated by a lot of years, so it's hard to like find things in common to have like a funny crossover about. So I don't know if John's caught on, but anytime the 4 times that we've done just a Matt and John crossover, I just bring up Wrigley Field because it gets John really excited. Like he gets super amped up about it, and it's like he gets like very interested in the conversation, and then it's just we're just able to bounce off each other. We created a trip. We just 1620 Wrigley Field. Like we just got to go to Wrigley Field. It's a 1620. His own
Around an event or
no, we just go to a
go?
Cubs game. We just go and we get
I
hammered.
took a tour one time in March. It was fun.
yeah, probably.
I
the
took a
worst
summer
time.
tour of Wrigley.
Summer tour is great. All right.
Yeah,
well, that's good.
the field was it didn't have any grass on it. It was the day before COVID started.
Really?
Yeah.
You went on March 10th?
It was like
That's
it was
my
the day
brother's
that
birthday.
it was the day that Creighton beat Seton Hall and the super spreader happened.
What's
And
the super
the
spreader?
super spreader known as the Creighton Seton Hall game in 2020, that when the Creighton
World shut
clinched the
down.
Big East championship.
An hour
Okay.
later,
And
Coach
there-
Mack and Nick Ball were having a beer together.
There was like a World Herald story that came out that night, and it was like, "Yep, some lady at the Creighton game had COVID, so everybody's pretty much screwed."
oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
The super spreader. Oh,
Uh-huh.
I thought you were. I took spreader in a completely different mindset there. I didn't think of COVID as spreading.
Like schmear? Like what are we talking about?
I just like
I now need you to explain because my brain can't get to wherever your brain went,
I
which
was
I'm
just-
happy about.
like a spreader, like
But-
when you drive it through your lawn and you put down
No,
fertilizer.
like a spreader, like a dude who like spreads out a lot, and like
All right.
and he like takes up a lot of room.
That's not what they call
You
it.
know?
That's called man spreading.
Yes, man spreading.
On the
That's-
subway. Don't
yes.
do it anymore.
Yeah, that's what I thought of immediately when you go super spreader. I was like, oh, God.
You don't remember super spreaders?
No, I've totally forgot about that term. I erased COVID from my brain.
Killed your prom.
That's right.
Yeah,
Your prom would have been a super
I'm
spreader.
not that guy that go, oh, I didn't have a
Probably
graduation.
have a lot of things.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't have a graduation. Kind of was happy about it. I went to one I did a graduation for college. That thing sucked.
Yeah, but
All
you
right?
always use it as an excuse for the rest of your life.
I don't use it. I don't use it.
You will, though.
I don't.
If the situation is right, you'll say, they took away my
We
high school
didn't.
graduation.
We didn't have a graduation, and I was.
That's why
completely
I'm
fine.
the way I am right now.
Nope. I'm just this curmudgeon-y because I hang out with a bunch of curmudgeon-y 30-year-olds. Me
We
wanting
haven't
to.
hung out in a while.
I'm not
so
that
I can't
curmudgeon-y.
We hang out every day for 40 minutes.
This isn't really hanging out. This is just work.
I think there are moments where we're being performative for the radio, and then there are definitely moments where we're just talking as humans. And in those probably 15 minutes, I mean, I hang out with Josh a lot.
You think
too.
you're being performative? I just assume this is you.
I'm not that curmudgeon-y.
I disagree. I
What?
disagree.
I think I have a positive disposition.
I think you have a negative disposition with a lot of energy. I don't think you're like you're
Just because I
slow
know
and you're
what's going to
grumpy.
happen doesn't mean I'm negative.
This is you. You are negative, but you do it with a smile and a laugh.
Yeah.
Nothing is more annoying.
Yeah.
I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist.
I just said those exact words in a different way.
I know, but I appreciate the ability to find some other way there.
All right. This was fun. Happy New Year.
All right.
You guys need it. The crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Middays with Matt coming up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call. Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt live and rolling here on 1620 The Zone Radio Network. Matt McMaster is always joined by Josh Odson, coming off of a fun weekend of sports. Big, obviously, we're going to talk about college basketball. Look, I think everybody wants to have their cake and eat it too, Josh Odson. Like, they want all of the upsets, and they want the Cinderellas, and they want the double-digit seeds, and they want the FDUs and the St. Peters and whatnot, but then we also want to have the four best teams, like the undisputed four best teams in the Final Four when we get to the end. We did not get the Cinderellas. What we did get, though, is the four best teams in the Final Four. Arguably, maybe Duke, you could say that Duke was better than UConn, but we got four great teams in the Final Four. UConn, Illinois, a rematch from earlier in the season. These two teams had already played each other back in, I believe it was in November. UConn won that game. It was solo balls. It was one of his better performances. I remember watching that game thinking, oh, probably same old Illinois. They will be the bridesmaid, but not the bride. I was wrong in November. I was right, though, back in February when Matt McFutures put a hefty bet on Illinois to win the national championship at plus 1,400. Hopefully I can end up hedging that bet. But UConn and Illinois, and then Arizona, Michigan. My God. Some are calling it the pseudo-national championship, that game between Arizona and Michigan. I won't go that far, as we see. Anything can happen after UConn was down 19 points in the first half and ended up defeating Duke in an incredible comeback. Here is I want to read you a headline today, Josh Odson.
Okay.
Duke's all-time collapse says it again. John Shire has a March problem until proven otherwise. I mean, considering the fact that Shire went to the Elite Eight this year and then went to the Final Four last year, and then we're saying the guy's got a March problem, is just proof that having Duke is one of the greatest double-edged swords of all time in coaching, where you can go ahead and it's an awesome job to have. You have the history, you have the tradition, you have the Cameron crazies, you have the fan interest, you have all of the perks in terms of being able to get top talent. But because you benefit completely from all of that, if you don't end up winning the national title, the year's a failure. It's a great job to have and also a crappy job to have. And the fact that you lose, he went to the Elite Eight and we're like, guy's got a March problem. Guy sucks. He's terrible. He was one of the last eight coaches in the country. But it was a collapse indeed from Duke. I think Dan Hurley, he's won 2 national championships, and this might be the best head coaching job that he's done. This UConn team is really, really good. Obviously, they're in the Final Four. But they're definitely not to the same level as the two teams that won back-to-back national championships and just had incredibly dominating runs through the NCAA tournament field. They don't have Klingon. They don't have Sinogo. They don't have Stephon Castle. They got some pretty good guys. Mullins, man, that is one of the gutsiest and best shots that I've seen just in basketball. I mean, it was, I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but from the logo in a game where UConn was terrible from 3, but they were able to dominate their way to the paint to get themselves within a puncher's chance. And then, unfortunately, Caden Boozer, who actually, I thought Caden Boozer, Cam Boozer's brother, the guy that, I don't want to call him like the redheaded stepchild, but like we definitely.
Oh, the guy from all those commercials.
Low key. We fawn over Cam, and we fawn over the fact that he could be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. And we go, oh yeah, he happens to have a brother that like might get picked later in the draft. Okay, no big deal. Like he's not as good as Cam. I thought he was having one of the better tournaments that we've seen from a point guard this year. And then, good Lord, just it's fun. You expect to see that in the Furman Virginia game, like in the very first round of the NCAA tournament. Like you kind of expect to see some of that shenanigans early on. That's why we call it March Madness. You don't expect to see it in the Elite Eight amongst two of the best teams in the country. But it happened, and UConn ended up stealing a victory from Duke. They will be in the Final Four. It was a great weekend.
I do sort of want to commend Caden for actually talking to the media after the game.
Guy's a stud.
I mean, he probably could have gotten out of it if he wanted to, but he stood there in front of the firing squad and took it and owned it.
I think also, too, it's one of those instances, Josh, where it's like, I'm trying to sympathize with him because I think it's very easy from my couch to say, you should have just held on to the ball. Just hold on to the ball, have them follow you, right? But I think if you put it into his perspective, if he makes that pass, the game is over, right? Like he's a freshman and he saw red and he saw a guy like, hey, we're forcing up the floor. Oh my God, there's nobody guarding those two guys behind us. I mean, obviously the correct play would have been hold the ball, get fouled, take the free throws. I'm not disputing that, but I can kind of sympathize and understand from his perspective as to why he threw the pass. There was nobody guarding the two guys that were down the floor. You get that pass over enough, a pass that he's made plenty where you jump up and you throw it really high, the game's done. You're going to the Final Four. And so unfortunately he saw red. He tried to end the game. It was a great play by UConn and then an even better shot by Mullins to end it. So hell of a game, hell of a weekend. We'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about the coaching carousel. We saw a domino drop today in the coaching carousel. Utah State hired a new coach. Does it affect Nebraska in any way, shape, or form? We'll have a conversation about that. We'll also talk about the Nebraska spring game. It happened.
That's what they tell me.
Where is it? Where's the
what you need?
The breaking news? This would have been great. The spring game happened.
The spring game happened.
Sounds like a lot of people didn't know that it occurred.
Did everybody have fun?
Well, we should interview one of the 27,000 people who were there. It was a rare event for Memorial Stadium.
Plenty of good seats still available.
Seriously. Up relative to what Memorial Stadium has seen, it's a very exclusive event, apparently, to go to the spring game. Only 27,000 people went. Typically, there's 85,000 people inside Memorial Stadium. It occurred. I watched part of it. Just to be honest with you, didn't watch all 4 quarters of it, but I watched plenty of it. There are some takeaways. I actually do think that you could watch that game and feel a certain way about certain aspects of the football team. Matt Rule had a press conference after that. Was pretty honest about things and just kind of, I think
was he happy?
Yeah, he was totally fine. Right. I think he's totally okay with basketball stealing the limelight, if you want to call it that. And I think he's totally fine with a quiet spring. We have been a proponent on this show of saying quiet springs are normal. Like there are so many programs across the country that win plenty of games every year that we're not diving in deep to who the 4th running back is going to be. We're not freaking out about the D-line depth or anything like that. It's fairly normal across the country to kind of go through a spring and be like, okay, it happened. Cool. They practiced, they figured out their depth charts a little bit. Guys got better. They have a better understanding of what the team might look like before they get into fall balls, when they actually start making the big, controversial and consequential decisions that go into it. So it happened. And honestly, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I kind of understand it from a fan perspective of, it seems like for a very, very long time that this fan base has gotten very excited over spring ball and then allowed the excitement of spring ball to affect their expectations heading into the regular season, just to have those expectations be sorely missed, to be just not lived up to. So the spring game happened, press conference happened. We'll talk about it. We'll dive into it. Jamal Rule, the big story of the spring game, the freshman running back. I had somebody tell me that I was complaining about them not adding a running back in the transfer portal like a lot of people were, because it just, a big hole is there now that Emma Johnson, who had an insane season last year, even Rule said it during the his press conference. He was like, "What Emma did is not normal. That is not what we will do. Like, we won't have a guy have that many carries and be relying on him." But it was one of those things where that was a really big hole and they didn't seem to fill it through the portal, and I kind of freaked out about it. I was like, how, like, out of all of the talking about how you're going to be competitive with the top teams and how you're going to have money to spend, how do you not and go and get a difference maker on that side of the ball or in that position in particularly? And somebody told me, well, their idea of filling that hole or adding somebody was Jamal Rule. I go, okay, well, we'll just have to read reports and hopefully they're saying good things about him. You saw him in action for the first time in live reps. He looked good, looked powerful, looked fast. He looked really well put together for a freshman. I think the biggest takeaways I have are more so on the offensive end for sure. I think you definitely have to go back and watch it a little bit more closely if you want to see what some new things that they're doing with the 4-2-5. The tackling looked pretty good, which was a takeaway that I had. But we'll talk about some of the things that we saw, but more in particularly. We'll talk about the attendance and we'll talk about the care and we'll talk about the investment into football and should people be worried about it? Just get ahead of it now. No, I would not be. We'll also talk about the coaching carousel in college basketball. Tommy Lloyd said some strange things, said some things that people don't typically hear coaches say when they very much are in the middle of a hiring process with North Carolina. He straight out just said, hey, Arizona's going to have a really good head coach, if I ever leave, which is like, whoa, okay. Talk about like just getting ahead of it. Husker Alex writes in the YouTube chat, referring to Jamal Rule. Did he look the part, Matt? I will not do that.
It's important though.
I will not. No, I'm not going to say that. I can't make fun of people for saying that players look the part and then tell you that players look the part. You can't do that.
I gotta know though.
I'm a man of honor. You can watch him yourself. He ran pretty well.
It's on my DVR. I'm going to tell you on that right now. I'm probably never going to click play on it.
I asked Schaefer how much of the spring game he watched because I was genuinely curious because, Mike is a great football guy. And I thought that, maybe he watched the whole thing and he told me. There's a reason I didn't ask Josh.
You didn't ask me. You knew the answer.
I knew the answer immediately. I knew that not for one singular second you turned on that game and watched it.
I thought about it though.
No, you didn't. Don't lie. You were actually more concerned as to why the Omaha logos were on a South Dakota ice rink.
That's right.
You were really concerned about
many questions about this.
So for people who know, so it was what the South Dakota's ice, right?
Yeah. Forgive me. I don't know geography.
Neither do
Sioux
I.
Falls, Sioux City.
Okay.
I don't know. One of them.
And so the NCAA hockey tournament is going on, and Omaha's logos were patched all over a game that didn't include Omaha, that wasn't played in Omaha, and you were very confused.
I mean, the Omaha not being there didn't confuse me. It was their logo being all over the South Dakota ice rink.
I went to one Maverick hockey game.
I love going to Maverick hockey games.
I went to one Maverick hockey game this year, and they have some things to figure out there in terms of having a better product on the ice. But anyway, they were hosting it, like all the staff was there, and they did all of the groundwork, and they did a great job of like hosting and the reason why they do that, Josh, is because if they host it in Omaha, right? If they host it at Baxter Arena, but they're not the top seed, you don't get your home locker room.
Sure.
Which is a pain in the ass, okay? As somebody who's had to do that before in high school hockey, where we had to give our home locker room to a different team, moving out of your locker room, like packing up all your stuff, getting out of your cubby, going to like the visitors' locker room. It's so awkward. It's so weird. It's just like, it's disgusting, okay? It's disgusting. But they still want to host the event. and have the event be in a proximity that Omaha fans can visit to. So that's why they host it there. But anyway, I knew not to ask you if you watched the spring game.
Thank you.
I knew that you did. We also have some breaking news too that we announced during the crossover that Nebraska volleyball is going to Chicago, Illinois, September 6th, a Sunday. We'll go ahead and play Missouri in a SEC Big Ten Challenge. Also, Penn State and Kentucky will compete in the Big Ten SEC doubleheader. So Labor Day weekend will be the first time volleyball is played at Wrigley Field. Do you want me to be optimistic or pessimistic?
Oh, optimistic.
Okay, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
It's great for the sport.
Insane venue. You're going to get, and Chicago, like from a youth volleyball perspective, is a very good volleyball town.
Okay.
I mean, there's been a lot of, so many women in my life who played travel volleyball and all that type of stuff. They have events out there all the time. I know Kevin Suits is, he had his daughter was in volleyball. They would go out to Chicago for tournaments and whatnot. So it's just like one of those things where it's a good volleyball town. Chicago's a great event town. I know that immediately, like Wrigley, events in Wrigley sell because of Wrigley. Like you will have people that aren't necessarily fans of certain sports going on, but because it's at Wrigley, they'll just go. They'll just be like, "Oh, I want to see it." Like to see a different event that isn't a Cubs game in Wrigley is something that people like to do in Chicago. But then also to the alumni base that's there, not only for Nebraska but also Penn State, even Missouri. There's a ton of Missouri grads in Chicago, so I think it'll be an incredible event. I think Husker Nation will show out again. I think it'll be great for the sport. I think it'll be an awesome visual optically of just people playing volleyball in Wrigley. I'm curious to see how they set up the volleyball court
configuration.
I think it's going to be, if I had to guess, Josh, they're going to put it pretty close to home plate.
I would think so.
I wonder what the bleacher tickets, if they're on sale, what they would look like. I don't know how great of a visual it would be out from the bleachers if, for volleyball's sake, all the way close to home plate. So that's just kind of what I think of immediately.
So now we have to do we have to have the Nebraska Ohio football game the day before, as early as possible.
Sure.
So that everyone can, that football game's over, that got that dub, let's go to Chicago.
Oh God. Yeah. Great point. I didn't even think of that, Josh, of like what the football situation is going to look like. And on
we don't know the NFL schedule. Maybe Joey can tell us if the Bears are home that week or not.
I don't think we know it either. I don't think the Bears being home or not will really like play a factor.
Because it's so far away, because they'll be in
no, they'll still be in
Indiana.
Here's the one thing, because we got to hit a break in a second. I am worried about the wind.
Okay, so I was worried about this with Volleyball Day in America, and it didn't seem to matter.
It wasn't a problem.
But in the windy city.
Wrigley's a wind tunnel, okay? It literally is. There was Ian Happ hit a ball on a launch angle, okay, and at a speed that would have ended up on the street, okay? This happened literally this weekend. And the wind knocked the ball down 113 feet, okay? What would be a home run 100% of the time that literally ends up on Waveland was a just routine fly ball to left field, okay? I'm a little worried about the wind. I'm a little worried. I'm slightly worried. I'm not worried, though, about the quality of game that will happen between Missouri and Nebraska, two great volleyball teams, and I'm not worried about the quality of game that's going to happen in the Final Four. We will talk about the quality of the games that happened in the Elite Eight to get to where we were. Coming up next here on a great show of Middays with Matt on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Okay, a lot has happened here over the last couple of minutes in terms of things that we'll talk about. Number one, shout out Joe in Vegas. He sent us
A pizza?
No, I love a pizza. God, great. Anyway, sent us what the rendering. You immediately moaned, by the way, but I told you.
Love a rendering.
Everybody knows Josh Hodson in renderings. Like peanut butter and jelly.
It looks so awesome. Of course it does. The computer made it.
Well, okay. God, I'm trying to figure out a way to approach this.
Okay.
Because this is great. Volleyball at Wrigley Field is awesome. For Nebraska to be involved in it is obviously an indication of something that everyone already knows, that it's the premier volleyball program in the country. Okay. And they are the standard. And they are the standard not only in terms of playing, but also in terms of fan interest and fan excitement. If you're going to do something in volleyball that is going to break records or be groundbreaking or never be done before, you have to include Nebraska because that's the most effective way to do it. We talked about earlier in the break, okay, they're playing at Wrigley Field. And I said to you, Josh Otson, I said, it's going to be interesting where they put the court. I would guess that they would put the court pretty close to home plate, considering the fact that a volleyball court, and this is kind of what I was getting at, isn't necessarily the biggest court out there, okay? It's 19 feet wide. It's 59 feet long. It's not necessarily small, but, you know, it's a really big venue. And so it's if you want to make the court viewed by the most people and have the most quality seats you can, you probably put it close to the home plate. They've decided not to do that. They are putting it right in the middle.
Okay, there answers your bleacher question. They're selling bleacher seats.
I think the bleachers are going to be the best seats you can have, in all honesty. I think the Hawkeye view that you get right under the Wrigley Field scoreboard is going to be prime real estate. I think right center field will be prime real estate. I think that a little bit kind of before you get to the Sloan sign where the bullpens are, like that's probably where it cuts off in terms of quality seating. I think you could say the same thing for the left field bleachers. Like I think the bleachers are probably going to be your best bet. I think the Bartman seats will be pretty decent, and I think the right field foul pole will be pretty good. But like, you are low and you are far back if you're sitting in the 100 sections or the double-digit sections.
Yeah, okay.
You are like, because those I've sat in those seats.
You want a little lift.
You do want a little lift
on your seat, yeah. Sure.
I've sat in those like kind of 1914 club seats, those seats that are right behind home plate. Humble brag. They're low, man. They're right to the ground. Like you are standing. Honestly, it feels like you're kind of below the baseball players in a way. Like it is being right behind home plate and even being, and the thing is too about Wrigley, so you do work up a little bit, right? You work up like there's a little bit of a, like it becomes a hill, right? That you get some elevation. So the elevation becomes better, but that's really far back. Like considering from where you're at to home plate, that's not even talking about being really far back from volleyball that's going to be happening basically in shallow center field. So I really don't think if you're, and I'm just kind of giving you the scouting report here, Husker fans who will be there. If you go and you buy tickets, I would probably recommend looking bleachers first and then probably the foul poles. I would stay away from the 100 sections. I would stay away from the sections that are right behind home plate. I would stay right behind, like I would stay away from even the ones that are going up, because even when you get to the 200 sections, especially behind home plate and even down the first and third base lines, you get some obstructive view. There's some poles because it's 100 and whatever years old. And so there's a lot of obstructive view seats in general in Wrigley to begin with. I would go right to the bleachers. When these tickets open, go right to the bleachers and then look at the foul poles. I don't know if you really want to be sitting behind home plate.
April 9th when the tickets go on sale to the public, by the way.
So there's the Matt McMaster scouting report. I will be at that game. I don't know in what sort of capacity, but I will be there.
You'll be renting rooms to our listeners.
No,
right?
absolutely not. God, no.
Why not?
How many rooms do you think I have? How many rooms do you think the McMaster household actually has?
I'll bet there's 4 rooms you could rent.
The parents are empty nesters. They're kind of having an existential crisis. I hope that they're not listening, but they really don't like being empty nesters. It's not something that they enjoy at all. But they do have they have 3 rooms with beds that are available.
Okay.
You can be in one of them. We'll put you in the basement.
Oh, hello.
There's a basement bedroom. I do
Okay.
want to warn you, the last 2 people to live in that basement bedroom unfortunately passed away. So it's not that we don't have ghosts or anything
Did
like
they die
that.
in the bed?
No, Groppy didn't die in the bed. He died in a different bed. But
Okay.
he did live there for a while. And
Okay.
then, my grandmother, his wife, also lived there and then unfortunately passed away
Okay.
a little bit after that. It's not haunted. It's fine. I sleep down there sometimes too. It's okay. The other
You're alive and kicking?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Right now, currently.
Sure.
I'm okay. I'm going on walks to mitigate that.
It's all people are talking about.
I know it's the buzz. So no, I'm not renting out rooms. I'm not having any.
Okay.
Get out of here. So dumb. But we will be there. It'll be a ton of fun. I'm going to tell you right now.
Great question from Chris in the YouTube chat. Let's be real. How are we going to incorporate the Wrigley beer snake into volleyball?
Look, Nebraska fans are really going to find out how much a beer costs at Wrigley Field, and they are going to throw a riot. Okay, it was so cool in Oklahoma City. Okay, to make them run out of Busch Light. It was so cool what they did in Houston, where they had to bring in all this Busch Light. I think Nebraska fans are going to go to Wrigley and out of spite aren't going to want to drink a lot of beers because it's $22 to have a 24-ounce beer. It's ridiculous how expensive beers are at Wrigley.
It doesn't seem to stop anyone.
Yeah, but those are rich Chicago Northwest suburb snobs that have their mom and daddy's money that they can go and blow and they don't care. The working man and woman of Nebraska are going to go to Wrigley Field and be like, I should have snuck shooters into here. They're going to go, I should have snuck a beer into this place. This is ridiculous.
Matt McMaster here for sneaking shooters into Wrigley.
Matt McMaster here. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not too far removed from sneaking shooters into a lot of different places. Okay. Matt McMaster really good at sneaking. Nah, I probably shouldn't put that.
That's good self-control on your part.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Keep saying it, Matt. Soon you will believe it. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's just I'm telling you right now. The beer snakes, if you want to do it, it's a ton of fun. It's just a heavy investment. Okay. I think you're better off taking all of the cups and probably putting it into the stock market than you are making a beer snake at Wrigley Field. But Nebraska, the big story. Nebraska women's volleyball going to Wrigley Field, taking on Missouri, a Big Ten SEC challenge that will also include Penn State and Kentucky, 2 of the other premier teams in college volleyball. Congratulations to Nebraska. Another milestone event, another benchmark in the groundbreaking things that this volleyball program continues to do in the sport. So congratulations to them. It'll be an awesome event. Don't forget, pregame at Murphy's and then postgame at Cubbies.
Okay. This is good to know. Good info to have.
That's what you do. Never a bad idea to go to Sluggers and get a couple dude. Nebraska fans at Sluggers. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be incredible. They have live BP at Sluggers. They have a pitching machine there. They have a batting cage. You can go to the batting cages at Sluggers.
Okay.
And you can just.
We're going to some batting cages on Thursday.
We are going. Thank you for.
Don't forget.
I almost did until you said that. So there you go. Alrighty. Let's talk about college basketball. Let's talk about a team that does play not in Wrigley Field or in Chicago, but Illinois. I think Brad Underwood very quietly has been one of the better coaches in college basketball, but just hasn't had that benchmark with the Illini of going to the Final Four. This team went on a weird. Illinois has had a really weird season. Went on that 13-game winning streak. A lot of it was without Kylan Boswell, one of their better players, the guard, one of their better defenders for sure on defense, and go on this 13-game winning streak, which included defeating Nebraska at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And after that game at PBA, it looked like Illinois was at the peak of its powers, and they looked incredible. And we were also at the point where we were having these conversations of, are they better without Boswell? Because that's when Keaton Wagler, the future lottery pick for the Illinois Illini, and an awesome story, 3-star from Kansas that was heavily under-recruited, only had one other Power 5 offer outside of Illinois. Brad Underwood called it the only player he's ever offered without watching them play in person. He did not see Keaton play in person, but he watched him on tape. It was another great story where he goes, he only scored 2 points in that game, and I thought immediately he's going to be a great player. They have him. He goes off. Then they kind of, faulted a little bit. Lose to Michigan State in a very tightly contested overtime game. They lose to Wisconsin. Blackwell and Boyd go off. They go to UCLA. They're up 23 points on the West Coast. UCLA comes back, ends up beating them. You're going, what the hell is going on with Illinois? And then you also see them play Michigan, and they just get bullied. Merez Johnson, the former Illinois Fighting Illini, will, just kind of bullies them down low. And I coined the term, Josh Odson, Illinois can't bully the bully. Illinois has a ton of size, and Illinois has the measurables to be a physical team, but they just hadn't proved, especially during that stretch, that they could, muscle up against someone who can pose the same threat to them. Man, they proved it against Houston. They all of that talk and all of what I saw against Michigan, that was eradicated when they played Houston in Houston. Dominated on defense. Houston had like 26 points with 10 minutes to go in the second half. And then in the Iowa game, they just had more weapons than Iowa. They just had more places to go. They had more opportunities to score. They just had better players. And I think Iowa, just got really, really comfortable with Bennett Skirch just running the show. And it just turned into, all right, Bennett, dribble the clock as much as you can. Just, kind of snake around, find an open shooter, and then hope that guy makes it. Illinois completely ate up the front court of Iowa. And if Iowa was going to win that game down the stretch, Iowa played an incredible first half, and, the score was still super, super tight. If I was going to win that game at the end, they were going to have to shoot like 6 of 9 from 3 or 7 of 10 from 3. They were just going to have to hit their shots, and that just didn't happen. Illinois goes to the Final Four under Brad Underwood, put together one hell of a roster. All these teams really in the Final Four just have very complete. There is a commonality between these three teams, and that is just dominant front courts, right? You go and you look at Illinois. You have Merez Johnson, Tomislav Ivicic, Vonimir Ivicic. 3 guys that are 6'10" or higher. You look at Michigan, Adai Mara and Merez Johnson, 2 just dominant bigs in the paint. You look at UConn. UConn's strategy yesterday playing Duke was, in the second half, get the ball to the paint. That's all they were doing. They were just using solo ball, using Demery, and just trying to figure out a way to get Terrace Reed at the best angle possible, and get him as close to the basket as he could. And then Alex Caravan, man, talk about a guy, he's mocked right now to go 34th in the upcoming NBA draft. Talk about a guy who is so smart, making so many great cuts. They had multiple of Reed to Caravan passes or Caravan to Reed passes that ended up at the basket. I think we talked about it. Gary and I talked about it a lot on the morning show when we were talking about football, about the commonalities between the teams in the college football playoff. And what the common theme was in the teams in the college football playoff was defenses, dominant offensive lines, and rushing the passer, right? Every team that got to the very end in the college football playoff had a great O-line, had first round offensive lineman prospects. They had guys who could get to the passer. Look at Miami. They got offensive linemen and 2 DNs who are going to end up being picked in the first round, right? Look at, when we make the jokes, look at Ohio State. They got so many guys on that defense. They're going to end up being picked in the first round. If you're looking at a commonality between these teams in the Final Four, it's through the front court. It's through the dominance there. And so Illinois has it, and they're going to go up against Terrace Reed, who's going to give them a run for their money. I said it in the rundown. I feel bad being like, oh, John Shire can't win the big one. Or like John Shire, like talking down on John Shire because he made the Elite Eight and he made the Final Four the last 2 seasons. That is not a easy thing to do. At the same time, that was a collapse. It was a complete and utter collapse. UConn found the recipe to get their offense going in the second half. UConn could not stop it. They just weren't physical enough in the paint, and they just continuously dumped it down to Reed. And Shire, kind of took responsibility for the play at the very end. It's an unfortunate turn of events, but frankly, it kind of is what he is now in terms of the view of the general public. You have a 19-point lead in the Elite Eight game. You're absolutely dominating. UConn went 1 of 18 from 3 to begin the game.
It's bad. My analysis.
1 of 18 from 3 to begin the game, and you could not stop them out. You couldn't step on their throat. You could not kill them. They just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And it's now 2 years in a row where it's not just, Duke loses before the national championship. It's 2 years in a row where Duke loses in one of the most spectacular fashions. 7-point lead with 1:05 left to go last season. They end up losing to Houston to go to the national championship. 19-point lead, and they end up losing to UConn. And once again, Shire can recruit his butt off. He can convince these top guys to come to Duke. He puts together these elite rosters already in his first couple of years at Duke. They've had so many studs, just so many just really good basketball players, but they haven't been able to get to the mountaintop to accomplish it all. And I think Dan Hurley, man,
psychopath.
Okay. Him headbutting the referee after the shot is the craziest thing I might have seen on a basketball court.
I mean, what can you do if you're the official? Because
by the way, they know, right? Like, they just have I think they like it. I think the referees like how he's a psychopath. Like, I think they kind of like that. It's just like, oh, that's just Dan, Like,
I think the vast majority of the basketball world has turned from that guy's a psychopath. He is dangerous too.
Yeah, society.
What a lovable psychopath.
He's kind of like that. Everyone had a friend, and she was dating a guy that you're like, that dude, Olivia, that guy's crazy.
This guy's not safe.
Like,
you need to leave.
Like
you should find a safe house.
Like, he's funny, and we get along, and he's a great time, and it seems like he really, really likes you, but he's kind of insane. He kind of flips a switch, and she's like, no, but like, that's just him. That's just Dan. Dan just does that.
He didn't have a mom growing up.
Yeah, it's okay. No, he gets emotional. It's not a big deal. He loves you. Don't worry about it. It's just, that's how he is.
He's passionate.
And then like Dan gets a 6-figure job and buys a house and like, gets Olivia a really great ring. And like, they have a very like great life and family. And you're like, I don't know how this is happening. How can this guy be so psychotic and so crazy and start throwing beers at the bartender, but the bartenders love him? Why do the bartenders like this guy?
He tips 20%.
This is he tips 40%. That's Dan Hurley. I'm like watching. He headbutted a referee after a shot, and they didn't call a foul on him. We have visitors.
We do have visitors.
How we doing? I'm not sure why. Hi, bud. Good to see you all. Anyway, so Dan Hurley, I think, doing one of his best coaching jobs, probably in his career. They had Klingon and Sinogo and Stefan Castle, and they had and Caravan was a part of those teams too, and they dominated their way to national championship games and then won those national championship games. And yet this is a team that so I was writing this down in my notes. I was like, this team has gotten taken to the limits by average to bad Big East teams and even got beaten by a bad Big East team. And I go, oh.
You calling Creighton a bad Big East team?
They're playing in the Crown. They're playing in the postseason tournament. How can you be a bad team and play the postseason? People are asking.
Playing games in April. I thought that was the goal.
I love that this script is flipped.
It's flipped.
It is awesome. Okay. As somebody who, like, as a Nebraska basketball fan who doesn't hate Creighton as much as some Nebraska basketball fans do. I think this is so funny. I'm just laughing at it. I just think it's the best. But anyway, this is a UConn team that has had bad games. Should have lost to Providence in Providence. Got taken to overtime by them. Got taken to overtime by Villanova. Did not play well multiple times against teams like Butler. Lost at home to Creighton. And yet, they have found their way into the Final Four. They have coached their way into a Duke team where you're like, wow, Cade Boozer, how about... We're going to look back on that team with Sarr and the two Boozers and be like, how did they not get to a Final Four?
Well, everyone's tweeted that list out yesterday of these are all the players Duke did not win a national title with.
I think I bookmarked that list. I hope I did because it is insane. All right, here it is. I will, here's the list. Duke has 0. So this, by the way, came from a North Carolina Tar Heel account, which makes it even better. Duke has 0 NCAA titles or title game appearances since 2016. During the time that they've gone on this drought of not going to an NCAA title game, they have had the following players: Brandon Ingram, Jason Tatum, Marvin Bagley III, Gary Trent Jr., Wendell Carter Jr., Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, Trey Jones, Paolo Banchero, Kyle Filipowski, Derek Lively, Jared McGann, Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, Kaman Maluwak, Sion James, and Cameron Boozer. By the way, I skipped a couple of names because it's way too long.
A lot of names.
Multiple NBA All-Stars. Multiple players in the NBA that aren't just good. They are good for a very, very long time and just find themselves like they have had some of the highest quality of not just college basketball players, but NBA players as well, and have not been able to win. You know, Josh Hodson?
Matt McMaster.
They say everything in moderation, except Duke losing. I can watch it all day long. I can watch it any day of the week. It is not something that I can get too high on. I love seeing it.
I have a confession to make.
Okay, go ahead.
I stopped watching the game at halftime.
I'm going to be real with you. I mean, it's not like this was like it was a slog.
I said, I got stuff to do around the house. I got a family to take care of. We got to figure out dinner. This game's over.
You didn't even turn it. You didn't even give it a quick glance back.
I listened to it on the radio the first, 5 minutes of the second half, and
not a whole lot was happening.
Didn't storm out of the gates or anything.
No,
so I was like,
it took them the entire time to get to that point, and it took them the entire time to get to the point where they could foul to extend the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not as if they came like screaming back and was like they just completely it took them all 20 minutes.
I got the push notification that says UConn won on a buzzer beater, and I'm like, how?
It took them the entire 20 minutes to get back from that deficit, because it's not like Duke played terrible. Like, Duke played fine. They didn't play good, but they played fine. It took them the whole 20 minutes just to get to that point, and then they had to take a half-court shot, basically, to do it. So, look, I think that Dan Hurley has done an absolutely incredible job. He's a complete psycho, but I absolutely enjoy and love watching Duke lose. The Duke Blue Devil announcers wanted a technical foul on the UConn running onto the court after the buzzer beater. Did you listen to the Duke call? The Duke announcers call the game?
The Duke announcers, no. I've seen it's out there. Is it just
so
crushing? I heard it sounds exactly like you would think a Duke basketball
I don't know who
sounds.
the broadcaster is, but when I think of what the Duke broadcaster would sound like, it is that man. And then secondly, they called for a technical foul on UConn for running onto the court after the
game was over.
They go, no. So they hit the shot, and then some of the UConn guys got into the court, and they go, "The UConn guys on the court, that's a technical foul." They were calling for a technical. It was great. It was awesome. So we're gonna have a great Final Four. UConn, Illinois rematch from a couple of months ago. Houston, Arizona, the de facto national championship game in a lot of people's eyes. two dominant teams, two teams with a ton of physicality that are well-rounded. 1 through 8. That's the crazy thing about those two teams. It's not like a 1 through 5 thing. They are deep, deep, deep. Michigan, I think, the most well-rounded team in the country, which is part of the reason why I picked them to win the national championship, because I think they're immune to bad matchups. But I feel like Arizona, with their size, is just a walking bad matchup. They made Purdue look like a JV team. And here's what I mean by that. When Purdue was going on their run in the first half, Purdue's a 2 seed. Okay.
People forget.
Purdue has one of the greatest point guards in NCAA history in Braden Smith. Okay. Purdue's got Matt Painter.
Assist king.
Purdue's got Fletcher Lawyer and Trey Kaufman-Wren. And these guys have been through every single battle. And the way they were celebrating on the bench, like when they were going on the run in the second half, it looked like a Merrimack, a 15 seed celebrating against a 2 seed. Like that's how threatening Arizona is. They were making a 2 seed celebrate like, oh my God, we're not supposed to be in this game. And then Arizona quickly reminded everybody why some people thought that in the second half, the way that they absolutely dominated. It is going to be an absolute war between Michigan and Arizona. Coming up next, we talk more college basketball, some coaching carousel stuff that we'll dip into. We have the odd news at 11:45, and then we'll do some spring football around the 12 o'clock hour, along with some niche sports stuff. Niche sports had a hell of a weekend. We'll talk about that. We will have Robin Washut on at 1:20. Robin will come on, give us some updates. We'll ask Robin a little bit of football stuff too. We'll mix it up a little bit with him. If you want to get at us on Twitter, don't forget to tweet at us at the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed at Matt McMedia, at Producer Josh. You can email in as well on the Equitable Bank inbox. And never forget to call or text in to the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, 402-951-1620. Do some coaching carousel stuff. Some dominoes have fell. We'll tell you what those dominoes are coming up next year on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Utah State's got a new head coach.
Do they?
Ben Jake of Northern Iowa, the long-time Northern Iowa coach. 20-year run at UNI. 5 NCAA tournament appearances. Jacobson going to go to Utah State. Utah State has had a pretty good recent run of success. Just going, they've made the NCAA tournament 6 of their last 7 seasons. But they've done it with 4 different coaches. Craig Smith, Ryan Odom, Danny Sprinkle, and Jared Calhoun all ended up basically parlaying their success at Utah State to bigger jobs, which, I for Utah State, that's got to sting a little bit to be like, you can never keep the quality coach that, leads you to success. At the same time, I think it's a pretty good indication that they have a healthy program there. And they have the bones and foundation to, regardless of who's leading the charge, go ahead and make the NCAA tournament. I actually think that they gave Arizona a really good run for their money as well during that game. I mean, the performance they put on against Arizona would have beaten a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament. They just unfortunately took on maybe the best team, frankly, right now in the country, the Arizona Wildcats, who head coach Tommy Lloyd has won more games in 5 seasons, in his first 5 seasons, than any other head coach in NCAA history.
That guy's weird.
Yeah, kind of. I don't think I have as strong of opinion on him as you do, but let's be real. If you have that, like a major amount of success in college basketball, I think it's hard to be normal.
Okay. Yeah.
Like all these guys are kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like they're just,
I'll meet you at that spot.
They're all just kind of psychos in their own different ways. Some of them are at the podium. Some of them are headbutting referees.
Which is why I think it's even weirder that here in the state of Nebraska, 2-3 pretty normal guys helming the men's basketball program.
Josh Odson. This is a great question. Does Nebraska need to hire more psychos?
Oh, okay.
Do Husker Athletics or Creighton Athletics or Omaha Athletics, do we need to hire more crazy people? Is there a shortage of psychos in these athletic departments that is hemorrhaging potential success? Alan Huss is a normal guy. Is that bad for Creighton?
We
discuss. Coming up next, is Fred Hoiberg too normal? I mean, it's obviously a joking question to ask, but Danny Hurley is crazy, and Tommy Lloyd is kind of weird. So we are now, I think, 2 full weeks now into this North Carolina head coaching cycle. I mean, this is territory that North Carolina is not familiar with. But it's one of those things where they really haven't had to do this. And so we're now kind of getting to the point of, we know who they want, and we know, all right, are they going to be able to get that guy? Tommy Lloyd is their top candidate. It's kind of out there. He is their dude. That's who they want. He is number one. And so he goes to the press conference after beating Utah. All right. And he goes ahead, and this is his post-game quote after beating Purdue. Okay. The guy who, at this point, it is out there. It is fully out there in terms of the fact that North Carolina wants him to be the head coach. Lloyd said this: Arizona is going to have a great coach after me. The place is special. Maybe not the most comfortable thing to say to your fan base and to the media when you are clearly the number one candidate for a job that people would consider to be more attractive than the job that you're currently at. Probably not the best moment to be like, yeah, when I'm gone, this place is going to be great. Now, here's what North Carolina, here's what Tommy Lloyd was getting at. Tommy Lloyd was saying, hey, this isn't just like a me thing. This isn't just a Tommy Lloyd thing. This isn't just they're having success because of me. What Tommy Lloyd is saying that is, when he's gone, because you're not going to be the coach forever, when he's gone, a really, really good coach is going to want to coach at Arizona. He's trying to explain to you that the health of the program is at an all-time high. Does he communicate it the best way? No, absolutely not. But that was his point. His point is like, this place is white hot. This place is on fire. We have a great team. We've had great teams the last couple of seasons. When I'm done, when I'm gone, there's going to be people who really want to be here. There's going to be people who want this job. And it's a good indication of how far we've come and the foundation we've built. That's what Tommy Lloyd was explaining. So it is funny the way that he put it, though, considering the fact that he very clearly, and this is according to, I've read some, I'm not reading as many ESPN articles as much as I'm reading Tar Heels Wire. Like I love reading the like beat writer accounts of like the people who are in the inside.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like Tommy Lloyd is one, Dusty May is two. I'll tell you exactly how this is going to happen.
Just big on TarHeelsWire.com.
No. I'll tell you exactly how this is going to happen. You gotta, what do we say, Josh? You gotta make them say no.
That's right.
You gotta make them say no. You're not gonna date Margot Robbie.
You're not. Just let's square that away right now. You're not gonna date her.
Terry's on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Terry, what do you think about Tommy Lloyd?
So the reason I'm calling about Tommy Lloyd, to get a better perspective on him, you guys ought to get Hunter Salas, try to get an interview with him. Tommy Lloyd was the lead recruiter for Hunter Salas to go to Gonzaga. And if you remember, Arizona fired Miller, who's now at Texas, and Tommy Lloyd got that job in July, so he was instrumental in getting Hunter Salas to go to Gonzaga, and then Tim Cannon was the coach at Millard North, too. So I just wanted to share that with you. But I didn't think you were in town at that time, Matt. So
no, not on the back end for sure. I think it was right before I came. It was right before I came into town.
Yeah, because he got that job, and then I think 21, 22 was because he got it. Basically, he got Hunter to sign with Gonzaga, and about 3 months later, he took the Arizona job in the middle of the summer. But I just wanted to pass that along to you. I wasn't sure if you're aware of that.
I appreciate that. We should do that. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you booking our show. That's a good idea. We might do that in the future.
What we're going to just get Hunter Salas on the show.
Yeah, we'll
be
just do
real
it.
Easy.
In the near future, and when I mean near future, I mean in the next 5 minutes and 15 seconds, lunchtime begins. The Odd News with Josh Hodson. Coming up next, Middays with Matt on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Nova's Nation, get ready for a moment you'll never forget. Join us Saturday, April 4th at the CHI Health Center for the first ever Omaha Supernovas mascot reveal as your Supernovas battle the Indy Ignites. Be there as we unveil the newest member of Nova's Nation and cheer on homegrown all-star Emily Londot alongside local favorites Merritt Beeson, Nora Sis-Tabrock, and Kira Reinhardt. Pack the house, bring the noise, and be a part of Supernova's history. Get your tickets now at the CHI box office or supernovas.com.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for their 14th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an exclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, they're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day is a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
As America's #1 motorcycle insurer, Progressive has your back.
Oh, like if I need a replacement part?
Sure, we can help with that.
Ah, nice. Hey, I just entered this online contest for coolest bike in the world. You think maybe you can vote for me?
Actually, we just do insurance, not popularity contests.
Yeah, I know. But what's your email? I'll just send you the link real quick. You can vote like 100 times a day. They'll never know.
To be clear, Progressive has your back for insurance only. So get a quote and see if you can save.
So what I'm hearing is there's a little bit of wiggle room.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Hi, I'm Johnny the Jet Rogers, inviting you to the 15th Annual Jet Award Gala and After Party. It's Thursday, April 2nd at Steelhouse, Omaha, 11th and Dodge. This year, our Jet Award winner is Caden Weegan, and our legacy winner is Tim DeWhite, both from the University of Iowa. Our keynote speaker is Nebraska's own Matt Davidson. To book a dinner table or sponsorship package, go to thejetaward.com or call Michael Severe at 402-350-8000. Hope to see you there.
Spring yard cleanup season is here. Lenaha produces Omaha's finest mulch, the best colors, best value, and the best quality. There is a difference. Free local delivery on 4 cubic yards or more, or convenient on-site loading. Lenaha, 192nd and Center.
This is the official station of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament in Omaha. Follow all the action from the first tip to the final buzzer right here. Westwood One's coverage of March Madness is locally presented by Woodhouse Cadillac and is also locally brought to you by Children's Nebraska, Berger, Elliott and Pritchard, and Union Bank and Trust in Omaha. Your home for the college basketball tournament. 1620, The Zone.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ Bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping when you text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's radio to 64,000.
Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it really easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Falken tires. Go to TireRack.com/Dan, see their Falken test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Spring is here, and fresh dug trees from our farms are arriving daily. At Lanahaw, we take pride in producing locally grown trees that are proven hardy for our Midwest winters, unpredictable springs, and scorching summers. Trust the nursery that grows more handcrafted trees in Nebraska than anyone else. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Visit Lanahaw's Garden Center, 192nd and Center.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around. And I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanted to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't? I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I'm Emmett Smith. Opioid poisonings cause the most accidental deaths in the U.S., and I've lost loved ones. But now I'm prepared to save a life. Just remember, lay, spray, stay. Lay the person on their back, use Narcan nasal spray, dial 911, and stay with the person until help arrives. Continue to administer additional doses as needed. An opioid poisoning can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Always be ready to rescue. Learn more at readytorescue.com.
KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620, The Zone.
Couple of updates here across Nebraska sports. First off, shout out Nebraska softball and Nebraska baseball. I told you so many times that it's really just football who isn't performing up to snuff in the Nebraska athletic department. We've had the women's basketball team make the NCAA tournament. You had the men's basketball team go to their first ever Final Four. You had the volleyball team, unfortunately, losing, but still getting to the Elite Eight against Texas A&M, the team that ended up winning the national championship. Very funny tweet from Danny Busboom Kelly, who they honored the Texas A&M volleyball team in Houston, and she goes, "Luckily, I was grabbing a beer."
It's a good line.
I like her a lot. She's great. Like she's just cool. Just cool person. You know, good coach. I mean, took Louisville to heights that they'd never been before in her first season. Has an undefeated Big Ten regular season, which is insane. Fortunately, couldn't get it done, but still, Elite Eight for volleyball. And now you have Nebraska baseball ranked 19th in the country today. Congratulations to them. They are absolutely killing it. They're currently 22-6 on the season. They've won 17 of the last 18 games or something ridiculous like that. Their only loss coming at Michigan in Ann Arbor. They swept Indiana this weekend. They will play here in Omaha on Tuesday against Creighton. So Creighton picked up 2 out of 3 wins against Sacramento State over the weekend. So their baseball team kind of finding their stride under Mark Kingston. Also, Nebraska softball up to number 5 now on the season after defeating UCLA at Bowling Stadium in Nebraska. It was a packed house for
record
softball.
crowd. It was a sweep, right?
No, 2 out of 3.
2
They
out of
lost
3. I'm
one
sorry.
game,
Okay.
6-5 on Saturday, but still, Nebraska athletics killing it outside of football. Ooh, they had a game. Did you know that football played?
They
this
even
weekend?
won the game.
Hey, well, yes. Nebraska or the Huskers won. I really don't know who won the game. I watched it sparingly. I watched it. Saw the high notes. Saw the Quinn Clark catch. Dude's a stud. He's that wide receiver room. Okay, so we've been doing this fun thing. Kool-Aid meter.
Yeah.
So
Where you
here was the update. I had grabbed the wooden spoon in the pitcher. Then I had moved to the sink. And then our last update we got is I had turned on the water.
This is all in an effort to make some Kool-Aid to drink this offseason.
The Kool-Aid meter has gone up a little bit.
It has.
It has. I saw some things I liked. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I saw some things I liked.
Oh, great. What'd you see? What talking point will we hear during every Big Red overreaction this season? Oh, they should really let fill in the blank here. He really balled out in the spring game.
No, not that.
Okay.
Not that.
Just want to know what the callers are going to be saying.
I'm not going to tell you that Isaiah Harris needs to get more carries after being the spring game MVP. I'm not telling you that.
Oh, God.
What I am going to tell you is I liked what I saw out of the O-line. They looked physical. They looked faster. They looked more athletic.
Went and got 3 starters out of the portal.
They looked like they want. It's almost as if they wanted the contact. Like it looked like they were hunting contact. They were hunting physicality. It looked a tinge different. It was noticeably a tinge different. They just look. Can I be real? They just look better. They just looked better.
Did they look like a Big Ten offensive line?
No, I didn't say the company line.
I didn't ask you if they looked the part. I asked you if they looked like a Big Ten offensive line.
I'm a little upset with you, Josh Johnson, because this is my job. I'm supposed to watch the game, and I'm supposed to tell you things that I saw. And now Doug in Idaho is telling me to stop. Guys, I'm just doing what I'm paid to do. I watched the game. This is what I saw. The O-line looked pretty physical. They looked pretty fast.
Maybe the D-line just looked terrible.
Okay, that's the tough part. But Jashir Whittington did get a sack. He's the tiny little baby D end who's like 6 foot, but he's fast. He's fast. We played at Pitt.
A fast defensive end?
I know, right? Shocking. The O-line looked pretty good. Jamal Rule. This is the point everyone's going to talk about.
Okay. I didn't watch any of this. Tell me what happened. It's
he
fine.
had 12 carries for 120 yards. Now, granted, he had 175-yard touchdown. And so some of
that's going to affect
it skewed it a little bit. Like the 9 other carries, I think were for like 46 yards, where if you average it out, that's like 4.5 a carry.
See, I saw Big Tone's line and it was like 12 completions for like 80, 90 yards. And I was like, I don't know. I don't like that.
A lot of Charlie checkdowns. But the offense from a passing perspective didn't look too different, which is a nice way of saying it was a lot of screens and quick game. Now,
Holgo the Oko.
Tone did scramble, and it looked pretty hot. It looked pretty hot.
Okay.
Looked pretty good. Like, it looked like there was one where they called it dead, and I totally thought he could get into the end zone from where he was at. Like, they reached out and they touched him.
We make fun of the Nebraska fan base's love of a mobile quarterback, but I also love a mobile quarterback.
How can you not like a mobile quarterback? Mm-hmm. How can you ever watch football and not like a guy who is
play
that
breaks
dynamic?
down and he's got another option?
Who the hell watched Robert Griffin III and said, "Not my type of ball, not my type of ball"?
You can watch him in flag football or something like that?
Is he, dude? Now,
coming up?
I'm gonna be real with you. Tom Brady, he could still throw it, man.
He said he was going to come back, and the league said, you can't. You literally can't. You're an owner.
How many quarterbacks would Tom Brady be better than?
Right now at 48 or whatever he is?
How many quarterbacks?
He would not be in the bottom 10.
He would not. He would not. He would be better. I think he would be like 16th.
Middle of the road.
I still think he could be better than that. I think I might be shortchanging him. In all
Which
honesty.
team is he on? What's around him? What's around him?
The Steelers.
The cast.
The Steelers. Can you imagine Tom Brady being backed up by Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, you'd have to change the jersey patch to AARP.
Dude, that would be more explosive than a season of Keeping Up with Kardashians.
How's that quick decision coming for Aaron Rodgers, by the way?
He was going to, dude, it was going to be a quick thought.
Make a real quick decision.
What will we get first? His decision or seeing his wife? Probably his decision.
Probably the decision, yeah. Because I'm gonna roll the dice and say that she's not real.
You're gonna roll it?
I'm gonna roll the dice and say that I believe she is not real.
I think Tom Brady would not be a bottom 10 quarterback. I don't I think he could be, and now I'm thinking about it, better than Geno Smith. Be better than Justin Fields. I'd take him over Brissett. Be better than a lot of quarterbacks right now in the league. Now, here's the thing. How long would he last is the real question.
If he gets hit,
it's over. It's over. It's done. So he couldn't do it. But just from a throwing and accuracy perspective. Anyway, I don't even know where. Oh, the Kool-Aid. So I'm now at the sink and I've put the pitcher under the water. I haven't opened up the Kool-Aid. I haven't gotten my sugar. Okay. I just have my spoon, and currently right now, the water is running into the pitcher.
Okay.
I haven't convinced myself of any additional wins yet. Okay. I haven't. We haven't gotten to the part of the Kool-Aid where the record starts changing. I have an idea of how many wins Nebraska is going to have. Currently right now, I don't think it's going to change. But I'm going to be real with you. EJ Barthel, man. A couple of years ago, if you told me like that he's moving like one of the best assistant coaches on the staff, I'd be like, really? Because it didn't seem like he had a massive impact in the first 2 seasons of Nebraska's operation. It just seemed like he kind of was just there, like he inherited a running back room that had a lot of experience, that had guys who had played the game before. None of them were superstars, and none of them really got all that better under him, right? Like he just kind of was there. Had Ramir, had Gabe Urban Jr., had Anthony Grant. He had a young Emmett Johnson. It just didn't, it just didn't really flash. It didn't really pop. It didn't do anything, right? And so then the second year comes around, and it's EJ and it's Dowdell. And it was fine. They got Dante from the portal from Oregon. EJ was okay. He wasn't terrible. It was a serviceable running back room. They definitely had their flaws, but they definitely, it wasn't something where the running game was atrocious. But once again, it was like you were kind of looking at EJ Barthel, and this is just a lack of a better phrase. You're like, what does he do? Like what is he really doing? Like, he hasn't gotten a top running back recruit. None of these running backs have taken these massive jumps, to develop into a much better player. The running back room is fine, but it's more so because of what they had before, not necessarily what he's done. It was just kind of like he was there. And the last year and a half now, I mean, I remember there was rumors of him getting the Texas running back job. And the first reaction was, why would Texas do that? Like, that was the first, like,
just to spite us.
They were like, why would they hire him? Like, why would that be something they're overly interested in? So he goes ahead and he did a hell of a job. Did a hell of a job of getting his services, getting his commitment. He did a hell of a job of establishing a recruiting base in Chicago. The development that EJ made, man, like, people forget about this Emmett Johnson season in terms of the fact where it's like, it's not like he was awesome to start. It's not like EJ came out against Cincinnati and lit the world on fire. It's not like he had this.
I was actually mad at him for not getting more yards, not hitting the hole quicker.
You're like, wow, he's getting the ball a lot. And yeah, the numbers look good, but it's like he could be a little bit more efficient. And then against Michigan, he did not have a good game. And I think after the Michigan game, we were looking at him being like, yeah, kind of what you thought, right? He's good, not great. Played a solid Big Ten competition, didn't have his best game. No, whatever. And then whatever happened in that bye week, whatever Emmett Johnson and EJ Barthel talked about, just changed everything. It changed Emmett's career. It changed Nebraska's season. It won them games. Emmett Johnson won them that Maryland game. Emmett, I mean, we were getting mad. We were a little skeptical in the beginning of the season about EJ in terms of like, oh, can he like take that next jump? And then it turned into, by the end of the season against Minnesota, we're like, why isn't he getting the ball more? Give him the ball. Give this guy the ball. And so you have to give EJ Barthel so much credit for the recruiting that they've done in Chicago, the roots that they've been able to lay there, the fact that they're so competitive with so many really high-ranking recruits, the fact that they got Trey Taylor partly through his recruiting, who has been a godsend to this program, especially from a peer recruiting perspective. You have to give him a ton of credit for everything Emmett Johnson was able to accomplish. And then we're sitting here thinking, why didn't they get a running back? Why didn't they go in the portal and get a guy? Why didn't they spend some money? Why didn't they, take that step? Why didn't they make a big swing? And internally, it was because they had Jamal Rule and they felt really good about him. And they felt good about Makai, who, Makai and Isaiah Mosey, they both had some solid spring games as well. And so Jamal Rule cat that they got, I like a lot about him, man. I mean, he's big, looks physical, able to run between tackles, able to run between the guards, took some hits, put his head down, churned out some really, really tough yardage. And then he has that breakaway speed, that 75-yard run, hit the hole. And it was a great article written here by our friend Steve Merrick, who was talking about Jamal Rule, wrote a whole feature on him. Here's what Rule said about that big run. At first, I didn't really see anything, but my coach tells me I keep pressing the aiming point, and then it just opened up, cut underneath, and after that, just got to win the foot race. And Steve writes this great article about how Jamal Rule just came in and he just wanted to get going. Rule said, my mentality was just to get in here and work, especially me graduating early. It really helped me. I could get in, learn the plays, learn everything, get some coaching points because I know coming from high school to college is more technical. And he talked about earlier in this article by Steve on Inside Nebraska about how he wanted to come in here and he wanted to make a good impression right away. And he wanted to impress EJ Barthel. And he was afraid about making mistakes. And essentially he said that the running backs around him were, it's not a super old group, especially in terms of experience. They kind of picked him up. Rule said they had to tell me they were in the same position. They had to tell me it's okay to mess up. Just go out there, do your best, and we'll fix it whenever we get back up in the running back room. They just calmed me down. So that's the kind of quote where it's like, it gets you thinking in terms of, well, they're really building a culture in that room. And they really have kind of the guidance of like, hey, man, we're a team. It's not necessarily about who, obviously everybody wants to get the carries. Obviously everybody wants to be the star. Everybody wants to, be in front of the spotlight. But the fact that there's kind of that selflessness there in terms of, okay, hey, we're all for one for all. We just want to succeed as a running back room. We want to go ahead and we want to see everybody get better. It's a reflection on Barthel. It's a reflection on the room that he's built. And so I think this kind of not redemption arc, but maybe development arc for EJ Barthel as a position coach has been the sight to see, frankly. He's made a massive impact in terms of recruiting. He's been a part of the development of one of the best running backs we've seen in quite some time in EJ and Emmett Johnson, who Emmett revealed that he's going to have a top 30 visit with the Minnesota Vikings.
Hello.
That's the team. If he gets drafted to Minnesota, dude, I would hate it as a Bears fan, but as like a football watcher, that would be a match made in heaven. Him, Kevin O'Connell, the weapons that they have on the outside, the quick game that they're going to run with Kyler Murray. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Him running behind Aaron Jones. Talk about a yin and a yang. Talk about Sonic and Knuckles. And like just the difference between those two types of guys. That Minnesota offense would benefit greatly having Emmett Johnson. So I'm excited for Emmett to see if that ends up being the case. But I think Barthel, man, like he's got one. Like, I don't know if I'm obviously not going to be like, oh, this guy's going to be like, Braylon Allen or anything. But you look at Jamal Rule and you go, okay, that guy's he's a Big Ten running back. He's gonna make some plays. And so it's good to have. It's good to have. And money well saved. All about being fiscally responsible. If that's running back, in terms of they didn't have to spend a ton of money going to the portal and get a guy, they got him. John goes, sounds like EJ's room is coached by the players, not him. Well, isn't that the cliche? Is there nothing better than a player coach team? That's what basketball coaches say. I don't know. This text from 310 makes absolutely zero sense. There was John emails into. I love how John emails and texts in too. Like he does both. He texts us and he emails us.
Whatever's closest. I got to get these thoughts out.
Whatever app he's on. Mm-hmm. John goes, you better remember what defensive line and offensive line was going against. Here's the thing about the offensive line, the fact that I liked what they did. It is about the D-line a little bit, but I'll just say this. There is no world that Nebraska is going to win in the Big Ten and they don't have an offensive line. Like there is no world where they are super successful in the conference and it's in spite of their offensive line. If they're going to win games, if they're going to be a good program, it has to start in the trenches. And so the fact that like you watch that game and you notice something, you're like, hey, they're a little quicker and a little bit more physical. And it's honestly the top story, one of the top. I would say that the three top stories from spring have been the wide receiver room, have been Jamal Rule, and then it's been Lonnie Teasley and Jeep Wade and the impact that they've had. And a lot of people in and around that program have talked about not only just the size of that offensive line, but also, too, the fact that those guys just are bringing something different in terms of coaching. Seth has a bunch of funny poll questions. Steve emails in the Equitable Bank inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally. Old man Doug. Weird coaches. We have a weird head coach on Nebraska sidelines in the fall. He has strange mannerisms going on during games. I swear. Okay. And then he just makes fun of Rule the entire time. I have to read these emails before I read them on the air.
Yes, you do.
Apparently, he took a bad timeout during the spring game. Old habits die hard.
Now, is that just somebody telling you that, Matt?
No, that was a tweet. That happened. That occurred. So Caleb Henry saw a timeout happen, and then he tweeted at Connor Happer, and he said, get the graphic up and running.
Oh, no.
I know. So
that's the spring game.
I know. Old habits die hard. Mm-hmm. So that's your spring game update there. Everything that happened. Jamal Rule looked good. Run for a bunch of yards. Offensive line was physical. Matt Rule had some, things to say during the press conference. They weren't breaking down barriers or anything like that. So spring football is over and nobody cared. 27,000 people at the game. It was the lowest since 2000 attendance of a spring game. Somehow Clemson had a lower attendance. They had 25,000 people. Talk about it being a quiet spring and not buying into the hype. The Clemson Tigers are having that as well. Quite ridiculous. Well, not ridiculous, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in Clemson this season with Dabo and everything that happened last season. The fact that that was a team that literally had multiple people saying they were going to win the national championship. They had legitimate national championship aspirations, and it was over just like that. It was over in 2 weeks. It was ridiculous. So Clemson also having a quiet spring. Is quiet spring the key to a good season? Probably. I don't know. I don't think we're going to, honestly. You know what's key to a good season? Not having to play Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State all at the same time. Oops.
That does really mess with the vibe. Like, okay, how excited can I get?
That's the worst part of this all, because it's just like you see good things, But like, I don't think you can say enough good things or see enough good things to convince yourself that you are going to handily beat any of those three teams, which is tough. We'll continue to talk about Nebraska football throughout the entirety of April and March. I'm excited. We're going to have something very fun for you kids starting tomorrow. So that'll be a good time. Coming up next, we'll talk a little niche sports. I think niche sports are having a moment. They're having a slight little itty bitty baby moment.
All right. This is what you wouldn't tell me before the show started.
This is it. This is going to be because I think you would have told me no. So we'll find out if it's a bad segment. Coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Have you been keeping up with NFL news, Josh Hobson?
A.J. Brown is still an Eagle.
Okay. Wow, you read my mind. It seems like
That's the only thing I know. There's some meetings happening.
There's some meetings happening. I think the biggest piece of news that I've found is Todd McShay is doing his Todd, cup of coffee. Todd McShay is doing his mock drafts as if the Patriots have AJ Brown.
Oh, okay.
Like he's doing his mocks as if like the Eagles don't have a wide receiver and the Patriots do have a wide receiver, and as if the Eagles don't have picks in the future or potentially won't have some picks in the middle round or won't have, because he's got to be traded after June 1st, but he's doing that. So that's probably the biggest piece of like, whoa, that's happened, because he's not only doing the mock drafts as if the Eagles won't have a wideout, he's doing the mock drafts as if the Patriots have AJ Brown, which I think is the biggest piece of news there in terms of, all right, he's just convinced he's going to go.
Good get, Patriots.
Great, dude. I mean, that Patriots team is going to have a worse record because the schedule is just way harder. But they probably will be like a better team overall. They made some very middling free agency moves. I mean, they didn't really move the needle a whole lot, but I also think they're kind of just banking on the fact that Drake May somehow will get better, even though he was already incredible last season. On top of that, I think they made some middling moves with the hope and belief that they'll trade for AJ Brown. Also, too, John Lynch, you know John Lynch, he's the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers.
Former fullback.
He told reporters that they hired an independent scientist to look at the electromagnetic substation.
Whoa.
Next to their practice field. They actually spent money and hired an independent scientist to look into it. He called it a nothing burger. I think that's the first time that any scientific discovery has ever been referred to as a nothing burger. Yeah, we went up to the moon. Nothing burger.
Didn't really find anything up
Didn't
there.
really find anything. You know what's, hey, breaking rocks on the moon. Shocking. Also, a quick update, too, for your college basketball heads out there. Nebraska basketball Twitter, great Twitter. Like, great.
They do all the memes.
Dude, well, it's not just that. Well, I say it's a great Twitter from a sarcastic perspective. Like, I think it's just they're always the general manager, or they're always the head recruiter,
or the head referee,
or the.
It's amazing that each and every game they get the short end of the stick. It's amazing how bad these officials can be.
I didn't say it. You're right. It really is. I mean,
they do get the short end of the stick a lot of the time.
Okay, so that's the thing, but they're also
it's rooted in reality, but they emphasize it way too much.
There were still people tweeting about the refs during the Iowa-Illinois.
Oh
game.
my God! Thank you. God, this weekend it was disgusting.
There were
still Iowa can get called for fouls. Oh,
I'm glad we saw the same tweets. It was a little ridiculous. And there's one individual, and he knows who he is, who's got a platform and a radio show, who is doing it in incessant amount.
I don't know who we're talking about. Is it Jack?
Yes.
It's Jack, right? Okay.
It was so,
I got there.
He had so many tweets about the refs. And I love Jack. I love Jack. I owe so much to him. It was, I'm like my man.
It's over.
My man.
It's over.
Done. It's done. Then, like, also too, I'm not a complaint about the refs guy. I don't want to act like I'm better than people. It's never, there are other reasons. Unless it gets egregious. That Michigan game in Ann Arbor, I became a complaint about the refs guy because that was quite insane. The free throw differential wasn't as much as just, there were some just missed calls and it was egregious. But like, you didn't score for the last 5 minutes of the game.
Just, hey,
okay?
Nebraska fans, you're getting in my tweets, you're getting in the chat and going, what about Creighton and John Bishop? I didn't say Creighton.
We didn't talk about Creighton.
I didn't come up.
No, we're just talking about the fact that
I'm singularly focused on one issue right now.
I'm not saying get over the loss. I'm not saying that. God, no. I'm not over the loss. I'm just telling you, it had a little bit more to do than the refs.
I'm just saying, put the phone down.
And we don't have to be tweeting about the referees in a game that happened 4 days ago when a game is happening currently when it's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm glad we're both in agreement on that. It was quite ridiculous. I was so happy, though, to see. I can't stand Illinois, but I think I can't stand Iowa more than I can't stand Illinois. So,
yeah.
By far.
I guess it would be different.
Also,
for you.
watching Fulgaris have a terrible game was just. Even my mom called me and was like,
"Hi, Mom.
I can't stand that Spaniard guy on Iowa." I was like, "Really?" I'm like, "You don't
Careful,
like this."
Mom.
She's Spanish.
Okay.
She's Cuban. She was like, she just didn't like this. She just didn't like, dude. My dad was sending me Tiger Woods memes, and he was like,
there were some good ones.
He was sending me Tiger Woods memes and asking me if it was okay to send in group chats. Like I was his review guy. So
everybody's got to have a guy for that.
He
sort
sent
of thing.
me 6 different Tiger Woods memes and was like, "Do you think this is a good one? Do you think this is a good one? Do you think it's too inappropriate?" And I vetoed one of them.
Ooh, okay. I'd like to see that.
It
one
was a
during
little.
the break.
It was a little political. But anyway, the one that he sent me one where it was Tiger on the line. He was looking down the line, and his caddy was right behind him, and his caddy goes, it breaks a little bit to the left. And then a cop was right next to them and goes, "Just walk the line, sir." And it was just a straight line. It was so good. Anyway, by the way, we were making the joke off air. Funny enough, this did happen where I go, "Can you call it Sunday Red when you're always when you just stop playing on Friday afternoon?" And I think at one point you said to me, like, "Should we just call it Friday Afternoon Blue?" You're like, should we just call it Friday Afternoon Blue? Like that should be his new line. Funny enough, on Friday afternoon, he was wearing blue and he got pulled over. He actually, like, this is not a joke. He actually can't drive the grandchildren of Donald Trump. Did you see this?
So I heard that story. I read that headline and I said,
"This is fake.
That ain't real." Or it's
no.
And then I forgot who he was dating.
Uh-huh.
And then I remembered, oh, that's probably a situation that has happened. And like I got there backwards. Like even though I had the article right in front of me.
I read the article. I thought it was fake too. I thought it was from the Babylon Bee. Like I was like, there's no way this exists. Like, why does this have to be a statement? Like, it's like I thought immediately it was like me being like, "Hey, I'll never have to, I'm not allowed to drive Margot Robbie's kids."
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm just
right.
Like
which I then went back in time and I was like, oh, that's probably why President T had that information about him playing the Masters.
Yes.
I thought he was just being like, "Oh, I'm a golf guy. I'll tell you right now if he's playing."
It's like it's like your dad read a couple of articles and he jumps the gun on the news in order to do like he's breaking news.
That's the exact thing I thought was happening.
But no, he actually does know.
He does have an inside
source. He actually
source.
can't drive the grandkids of the president. Do you know how insane that is? That is ridiculous. By the way, in this society too, it makes so much sense. That blue polo that he wore when he got on the pictures that came out of the DUI sold out.
Sure.
It is sold out. That is going to be a hot shirt on the golf course. People are going to see that and be like, "Tiger, nice." It was, and maybe we should stop making jokes about a guy who clearly has a problem when it comes to operating a motor vehicle and, all that stuff. But it's just, it was a banner day on Twitter on Friday. It wasn't it wasn't the best day on Twitter on Friday, but it was an awesome day.
It was surprising. It was fun out of nowhere.
It was crazy how many just creative jokes people were able to just come up with. So there you go. Talking about niche sports, by the way. I have some bad news.
Oh no.
I have some really bad news. Our boy's out.
Which horse is this?
Paladin.
This was a lock to get the roses.
Josh, he broke his foot.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
So Elmer's?
Apparently he's getting surgery. And he's not running in any of the big races.
Sure.
But he was practicing and he fractured his foot. And the horse that was the top dog for the Kentucky Derby will not be run.
So Derby's wide open. So I should go back and read those tweets you sent me over the weekend.
The Derby is wide open.
Okay.
And based off of who was running, like what I saw at the Florida Derby, wasn't impressed. Was not. Never. Hey, listen to me. Will you look me in the eye when I tell you this? Never bet a Flavian Pratt horse. Never bet a Flavian Pratt horse. Okay.
Flavian
Pratt. He's a jockey. He's terrible.
That's a jockey's
he
name?
had an
Gosh, to be short and to have a terrible name.
awful.
What a tragic life that
So
man
his horse
has
won.
lived.
His horse won only in spite of him. It was one of the worst rides that I've seen in quite some time. Commandment is kind of the new dog. He's kind of the new top guy.
That sounds like a favorite horse name.
Commandment,
Mhm.
just strong, one word, probably has a little bit of deeper meaning. Incredible is the other one.
Okay.
Where you're like, okay, but here's the thing. Death Taxes and Matt McMaster betting a Japanese horse, Danone Bourbon. Okay. He won the
Whoa.
what?
Danone Bourbon?
Danone Bourbon.
That's the horse's name.
That's the horse's name.
I like this horse.
I know. It's he won the Japanese, like you have to win a race in Japan in order to automatically qualify for the Kentucky Derby. He was the favorite to win that race. He won it. Danone Bourbon is our new guy. Okay. Paladin's out.
Horse profile.
It was a lock. Also, too, F1 drivers hate driving F1 cars. Have you heard about this? They're having.
Oh, yeah. You said you had a bit about F1.
They are. The season might be ruined for F1, and I feel bad. F1
but different guys were starting to win races.
No, it's just been these two guys from Mercedes because they have a jet engine in their car.
Okay.
And it's just
that's
like-
why Michael Jordan's guy keeps winning, although he didn't win.
He
this
didn't win
weekend.
yesterday. Martinsville's a tough track. His other guy, so there's 2311. So Tyler Reddick is the guy who's been winning all the races.
He drives the 4.5.
Yes, but the guy who runs the 2.3 is Bubba Wallace.
Yes.
Bubba Wallace is known amongst a lot of people in terms of non-NASCAR fans who know who Bubba Wallace is. Had a bad moment yesterday. Literally just ran over another car. It was like just trashed his race. Just wrecked his car. It was a bad look. Anyway, F1, I think F1 executes everything so well. Like the broadcast that they do, the camera angles that they do, the announcers that they have a perfect amount of drama that makes these guys likable, but not completely unlikable. They cover it so well in terms of the media. There's all this fan interest. They travel the world. They pay their racers a ton of money. Like F1 does it right. They've ruined their cars, and now everybody is pissed about it. And so people are very, 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 very upset. Very upset. So also, too, on our niche sports segment today, Gary Woodland won the
that was a cool story.
Houston Open.
You bet you thought I didn't know about that, did you?
No, I know. I thought you knew. I actually thought you would know about this story more than the spring game.
I do know more about Gary Woodland winning than what happened in the spring game.
Full confidence that you didn't watch 1 second.
Oh, that was minus 1,500.
That was totally going to happen.
I was shocked. I got Tony's line from a Twitter graphic.
That was a pull from you. I'm like, what? Josh is watching Anthony Calandria press conferences, but not the spring game. Gary Woodland, what a story! What a battle of adversity. Had brain surgery a couple of years ago. Battles back to win in Texas yesterday. I remember they did kind of a feature on him during the Masters, I think a year or two ago, about everything that he's been through and, whether or not they didn't even know if he was going to be able to golf again. And then to have that moment yesterday, just absolutely astonishing. So, it's just, there are things when you get the mixture of like life and sport and you see people battle back from adversity and they go ahead and they be victorious and do things that maybe people didn't think they would do again. That's always the best. So congratulations to Gary Woodland and everybody out there. Niche Sports had a week. They had a week. Congratulations to them. We will now not talk about you for an extended period of time.
At least another week. No,
Probably. I think we're going to kind of trail back on the Kentucky Derby talk for probably 2 weeks, and then we'll get back into it.
This is the season.
I don't know who I'm going to bet. I have no idea.
You got to watch the races to figure it out now.
Why are you now getting on my ass for not being interested in the Kentucky Derby?
Because the week of the Derby, I was just going to bet whoever you told me to bet.
I actually now
it's wide open. I need you to do the research. Damn it! I got a kid to feed.
I'm now in horse racing Twitter, and now they all like there are. I know, man. It's tough. It's tough. I need a hobby. I do. I need a girlfriend.
What is horse racing Twitter? Because I just picture guys at horse races, like movies from the 40s where they're wearing those hats that have a press pass tucked into the bill of the hat.
Here's what horse racing Twitter is. You make a take. They tell you you're stupid, and then they send you all of your bets. Like all of their bets that they won. They like, look at my tickets. Look at all the winners I've bet. Look at all the Kentucky.
Oh, that's their resume.
Yeah.
Everybody's just whipping their resume on
Literally just slap it on the table. They're like, look at this trifecta, buddy.
Sure.
Look at this. Look at this exacta box.
That makes sense now that I think about
it. Jake goes, Derby hates are a real thing, Josh. Jake is our horse guy.
Okay.
He's defending the integrity of horse racing. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, he goes, Derby hats are a real
thing. Hats, yeah. Well,
Derby hates is a real thing too. I mean, Connor Happer just often tells me that he doesn't pay attention to the Kentucky Derby until 7 minutes before post time.
Yeah, that's the way to do
it. Nebraska 98 Pats goes, well, brother, a girlfriend is not a hobby. Way worse. I don't know. Everyone I know who's married is very happy. Josh Hodson's a very happy guy.
Thrilled.
Do you know who's also a very happy guy? Can you guess?
Mike Schaefer, married.
No, I was going to say Dan Hurley. He seems like a really happy guy.
Married to the game.
We're also going to talk about, look, Ben Jacobson got hired from Northern Iowa to UConn. Should Nebraska basketball be worried? We talk about that next here on Middays with Matt on 1620. and Dinkers, I believe, is the foodie for. So congratulations to those restaurants as they duke it out to get to the final. You know who duked it out yesterday? UConn. Bring me. Where is she? Bang. What a choke. What a collapse. Really ugly. Not great. John Shire. I want John Shire to be the head coach of the Bulls if Billy Donovan were to leave, but unfortunately, not winning a national title, I think, has probably spurned that from happening. Ben Jacobson is going from Northern Iowa to Utah State. He was there for 20 years, went to 5 NCAA tournaments. Some people are saying, not all people, but some people are saying that Northern Iowa needs to make Greg McDermott say no. Make him say no, Northern Iowa. That's what some people are saying. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? We're in the season of making people say no, which is one of the more ridiculous statements that everybody seems to be using. The person that Northern Iowa should actually be interested in calling, in my opinion, I think is Nate Lesnar. It would be a massive loss for Nebraska basketball. Lesnar has been vital in this turnaround, essentially, during the Fred Hoiberg era, from not winning 12 straight Big Ten conference games to getting all the way to the Sweet 16. His implementation and coaching of defense has led the Huskers all the way to this point. I mean, the reason why Nebraska got to the Sweet 16 wasn't because they were great at shooting or wasn't because they had all this NBA talent or a bunch of 4 and 5 star prospects or anything like that. They got to the Sweet 16 because that defense could travel to any gym in the country. That they were a defensive team this year, and that's what they were consistently the best at through the entirety of the season. And he was a massive proponent of that. I think Northern Iowa would be a good call to make to Mr. Lesnar to potentially make him the head coach. I would hate it. I would hate if Nate Lesnar became the head coach of Northern Iowa because he would then no longer be coaching the Huskers. But I think it would be incredibly well deserved. Troy Dannon had an interview with former and Notre Dame College Prep graduate Jake Bartecki. You know Bartecki? You've heard of Jake Bartecki, Josh? He works at Beatrice for NCN. He asked a hard-hitting question to Troy Dannon. He asked Troy, hey, what is it looking like with the donor situation? What's it looking like with the cash situation with Nebraska basketball? Troy Dannon told Jake that he's getting calls from donors being like, we want to give money to Fred Hoiberg. We want to fund this basketball team. And more importantly, Fred Hoiberg has talked about keeping the basketball team together. He even said it himself that retention is the number one thing. There was a great video that was just dropped on Nebraska basketball's Twitter page about an hour ago, and it was the scenes from the locker room right after they had lost to Iowa. And Fred, I think the most jarring thing is the first guy he pointed out was Blue. He looked at Kendall Blue, and he goes, you've been such a great teammate. You've been such a great leader. Everything you've done this season, if you need anything, you let me know. I'll be there for you. The next person he then pointed at and talked to and told them how much he cared about them was Jared Garcia and said, we have one of the biggest wins in Nebraska basketball history in Champaign. You scored 10 points. We wouldn't do that without you. And then he looked at Jamarcus Lawrence and he just went down the line. He told each and every player how much he meant to them. It's an incredible video. I think it's entirely reflective on how great of a coach Fred Hoiberg has been. And also, too, like he said it himself over and over and over again. Like, yeah, obviously this team was great because this team had a lot of really good players. Price Sanford, by the way, popped up on a mock draft I looked at today, 43rd to the Orlando Magic. It's because of the culture that they built. And he's always talked about Sam Griesel and Emmanuel Bandabel and Derek Walker and the foundation that they laid along with Sam Hoiberg. And it's one thing to say, hey, we have a great foundation, but then it's another thing to practice it and put it out for people to see. And I think that video was very reflective of that. We'll continue to talk about hoops. We'll give you the opening lines for the Final Four, what to expect. Is the pseudo-national championship just the Final Four game, or does the winner of the other game actually have a shot to win it all? We'll talk about that next here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
We talked a little NFL already. AJ Brown rumored to be traded from the Philadelphia Eagles at this point.
I don't know why you would report that.
What do you mean?
I mean, I heard the guy say that AJ Brown is an Eagle.
Howie is going to do what Howie wants. That's the one thing that people don't fully grasp yet. You can't really report on a man who doesn't care. You know, like you can't really say, oh, he's going to do this or he's going to do that when he just doesn't give a damn. And Howie Roseman doesn't give a damn what you think or what fans think or anything. He gives a damn about what he thinks about.
I feel like the message was maybe, hey, I'm the boss.
Yeah. Ha!
I can keep you here, AJ, if you don't shut the bleep up.
So that's the big rumor. But here's the thing. Here's what's going on. They're having the annual league meeting this, starting today in Arizona. I think it's like they're in the Built House or Built Something Hotel. Do you know what's coming?
No, I'm sorry.
The annual coaches photo where they take big photo.
And they put Andy Reid front and center in the chair like he's everybody's grandpa.
And it's great. We get to see how good of a tan Kyle Shanahan got. We get to see like how much muscle Sean McVay's added.
Which coaches wear capris.
We get to see like how many of these guys do I know? Like that is always a great bit where
it's
you're
less and less each year.
Hey, dude, I'm looking and I'm like, is that Jonathan Gannon? Does Jonathan Gannon look like that? Are you kidding me? Seriously?
If you say the name of the Jaguars head coach, it just nothing.
Liam Cohen.
Yeah, but and then I go, oh yeah, the
Duval. You can laugh all you want though. They were pretty damn good team, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, they lost Achane, but I think they'll have a pretty good season.
I like that you're calling him by his.
That's what he wants to be called.
Yeah, absolutely.
Darius Leonard was Darius Leonard for forever, and then he was like, I'm Shaq Leonard. And I'm like, all right, guy Shaq now.
Rihanna tried this, and America said, no, you're Rihanna.
No.
When you're Rihanna, sweetheart.
It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different for athletes, all right? Like Beyonce cannot be like, it's actually Beyonce.
You've all been pronouncing it wrong for the last 3 decades.
Like Bajan. I call him Bajan Robinson. Because that's what he said he wanted to be called. So I call
that
him
one's
Bajan.
a little tougher for me just with my mouth and me being an idiot.
Can we be real here? Bijan is a better name than
but
like Bijan Robinson. That, I just hear Gus Johnson screaming it in my head. Where Bajan is a little, I don't know. I feel like Bajan is more of like.
It makes more sense.
Doesn't it sound like a French dish?
Yes, it does.
Like it sounds like something that you would have at like a 2-star Michelin restaurant in Louisiana. We have a nice little bag, a baguette Bajans, if you will. So anyway, something important though I do want to touch on. We're not going to have a whole segment on it. Okay. We're going to talk about college basketball because that's what I tease.
Hoops.
But they have a legitimate rule change that they're going to vote on. And no, it's not something silly and ridiculous like the tush push. They're going to vote on replay assist and basically what goes in to replay assist and what they potentially could overturn and not overturn and what they could review. So first off, they're going to so they kind of want to avoid having the replacement referee thing all the way back in 2012 with the lockout with the referees and they missed all those several calls. Like there's still trauma from that, and especially from the Fail Mary. And so basically they've proposed this idea that replay assist is going to be allowed to overturn more things. Okay. And you're going to avoid potentially the nightmare of having, like bad calls and then they can just go and look and overturn it. So
will it be quicker?
I don't know how quick it's going to be. But this is from Fox Sports, all right?
Okay.
Under the proposal from the competition committee, the replay center in New York would be able to advise the on-field officials on any missed roughing the passer or intentional grounding penalties, as well as any act that would have led to an ejection had a penalty been called. The replay center can also intervene to overturn calls that were made on several penalties, including illegal contact, face mask, roughing the passer, horse collar tackles, and intentional grounding. The replay center could also assist to overturn pass interference calls when there is a clear evidence that there was an advertent tangling of feet when both players were playing the ball or neither player was playing the ball. So essentially, they're like, they're putting everything in the hands of the replay center in terms of messing up these calls. I think the biggest one for me here is overturning roughing the passer calls. There are some roughing the passers where you're like, what are you talking about? You know, like that is no way that's roughing the passer. I mean, he like basically put him to sleep and put him on the ground. I'm sorry, his body weight wasn't on him. I think that's pretty big. Another pretty big one too is the face mask calls. Like there are some times where it's like there are face masks that are called that aren't there, or there are face masks that are not called that definitely were there. The fact that they can kind of make up some of these new calls out of thin air is a little dangerous. It's a little dangerous, and it could be kind of annoying. But I think if they're using it for the clear and obvious perspectives of this, that's really good for the game. They're just really good. If they're only using it for clear and obvious cases. They're also doing some more rule changes too to make sure that they don't have another lockout with the referees. To make sure that they don't have to use replacement referees.
We got to get some of this technology over to basketball. Because my God, everything takes forever for them to review. I'm not Connor Happer. I'm pro review. Let's get it right.
Can I tell you what I want to ban?
Please.
This.
Like players just doing this whenever
the twirling of the finger in the air every time there is some sort of
look it up. Football players, baseball players, they'll tell their coach, no, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Every out of bounds in a close game. Both teams are doing it. There are out of bounds where both teams are doing this finger swirl.
Love the confidence, but you got to be smart enough to help your team.
Nick Wright had a great take on this. Nick Wright's opinion on this was that if you did this, it's binding. If you do it, we're going right to the booth. We're going right there, and we're going to look at it. You can't look at your coach. You can't look at your replay guy. You do it, we're done. In the Duke UConn game, every single out of bounds, both teams were doing the swirly the finger. It was ridiculous. It's just annoying.
Oh, incredibly.
It's just so like,
and then we got to look at,
and then we got to go.
Oh, his finger moved.
Here's another thing too. As soon as the kid goes, he swirls his finger around. They have to cut immediately to the replay, and we spend so much time on this like under the basket replay, slow motion, and it's not even close. Well, most of the time, it's not even close. It clearly was off you. What are you complaining about? What are you talking about? I feel like 1 every 10 times, it's actually like, oh, wow, the guy's got a point. They actually do need a review.
I actually don't think football review takes that long anymore.
Really not that bad.
The baseball's got the ABS real quick. We saw it over the weekend. Basketball is where I got the problem. Everything takes forever.
The worst part, it's not even the reviews. It's the clock. Every time they have to adjust the clock.
We got to put 4/10 is what we're ruling. 4/10 back.
And
on
they
that
do
clock,
it so poorly too, because all of a sudden they come back and they're like, wait, there's a whole second and a half now on the clock. Like this completely changes the game. And then they inbound the ball and you don't even have time to process it. So yeah, pretty big rule change though for the NFL if they end up voting to accept it. That would put a lot of power. New York, if they accept this, New York, the replay center would go from being like a pretty important part where you get to challenge every once in a while and they have the replay assist to an integral part of the game. If they're now allowed to overturn and create parts or create
you'd have to hire like a Gene Steratore or something to like
I think immediately
run the room.
I think immediately I think of TSA. Like I hope
those hacks.
No. I'm talking with the comms guys, the guys who are what do they call those guys who are telling the planes when to land and everything?
Oh,
like
air traffic control.
Air traffic control.
Yeah.
Where we have a shortage of air traffic control. And in the back of my mind, as someone who hates flying, it creeps me out a little bit. We cannot have New York be like air traffic control where we have
is Justin working hour 14 of a 19-hour shift.
No. Like you're gonna need you're probably gonna need one person for every single game, like watching the game entirely and maybe they already do, but like if you now put the power in their hands where it's like all on them, that is, I mean, it's massive. It's absolutely massive. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous, but if done correctly, it'll be great for the game. The lines are out for the Final Four. Illinois takes on UConn. That will be a home game for Illinois and Indianapolis. There's going to be a lot of Illinois fans who have been waiting a very, very long time for this basketball team to make it to the Final Four. Game is going to be in Indy. Chicago people aren't like Nebraska people, where 6 hours is a short drive for them, but 2 hours is a short drive for them. They'll be out there against UConn. It'll be interesting to see how big of an advantage. This game already happened a couple of months ago in the beginning of the season between UConn and Illinois. UConn defeated Illinois. The one thing is that Keaton Wagler was not Keaton Wagler then. Like,
that's a big difference.
He was not, oh my God, this guy is going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. He should stay at Illinois for a year. Maybe a hot take. I would not go to the NBA draft if I was Keaton Wagler. I understand he'd be taking top 10, but they actually have one of the better strength and conditioning programs in Champaign. It's Io DeSumo very much benefited from that strength and conditioning program. And I just don't know if he's big enough. Don't know if he's physical enough. And he needs more of a handle, and he's a really, really good shooter, but you got to be more than just a good shooter in the NBA. And if you're going to be in the NBA, you have to have a role. And it's just tough to just put a guy and say, all right, you're 19 years old and you're, 185 pounds soaking wet, go and be our scorer. I think he would benefit greatly from staying in Illinois for one more year and being like the player of the year. Regardless, though, Illinois, UConn, be very interesting to see how Illinois handles Terrace Reed and whether or not they're going to be able to be physical enough and handle him in the paint, because UConn won that game, and it took them a while to get there because they couldn't hit threes. Like, that's why it took them so long to cut that lead down and put themselves in a position to win the game, because they just missed their first 17 of 18 3-pointers to begin the game. But their ability to dominate within the paint, especially against Cameron Boozer, was eye-opening. It was something else. And the actions that they were running with Reed and Caravan, cutting, some back cuts and stuff like that. And then solo ball, and Demery hit some pretty big shots towards the end of the game. This Illinois team is clicking. I think you saw that against Houston, and I think they're incredibly dangerous when they're clicking. This UConn team, though, man, like they just don't give up. They just don't give up. And I think, look, it's obviously not Hurley's best team, but it's one of his best coaching jobs. I mean, the work that he's done to will this group, who throughout the entirety of the season, we have seen the flaws of UConn. The entirety of the season, we have seen where their issues are, and they have been taken to the limit and even beaten by teams that they should not be beaten by. And still, they were able to get to a Final Four. And yeah, it took a miracle to happen, but you know what? You got to put yourself in a position to allow miracles to bless you.
Some would say two miracles.
What was the first one?
The first one would be the buzzer beater. The second one would be the referee having the wherewithal to not give a technical to Hurley.
Give that man the Presidential Medal of Patience, okay? If there's such a thing. To be headbutted by Dan Hurley and to not make it about you, Joe West would never. Joe West was watching the game,
and
yesterday.
That was a lot of real estate.
And
Keep that in mind,
dude. Joe West immediately would have. You're gone. You're out of here.
Did you? I don't know how well you follow the game of baseball.
Okay, go
so
ahead.
Forgive me if this is too inside baseball. Did you see CB Buckner?
I did.
Getting clowned all weekend long.
So bad. So bad.
He's the new Joe West, if you're not familiar with baseball umpires. Joe West retired, and now CB Buckner is
Hollywood Joe. And we
Yeah.
lost Angel.
Yeah.
No more Angel.
No more Angel.
We really do need a bad umpire in baseball to keep us whole.
It's CB Buckner.
Look, what brings baseball fans together more than anything is a bad strike zone. Okay. Like, you can ask Mike Schaefer, as much as that World Series sucked for him, both Guardians fans and Cubs fans were coming together to be like, the zone on the outside is way too big. like, I love Kluber, but he's getting too much of that outside fastball. That's ridiculous, But I think ABS, I love it. They're doing it quick. Salvi, to the surprise of nobody, Salvador Perez is insane at challenging the strike zone. He nearly single-handedly saved them the second game against Atlanta. But
he didn't, though. I just want to be crystal clear about that.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be real with you. I could have gotten a hit off of Carlos Estevez. Okay. It wasn't even, let's have a quick, because people care about this. And
so many Royals fans texting me over the weekend. That doesn't count. Everybody hates that guy.
And 1180 The Zone is the home of the Kansas City Royals.
That's
here
right.
in Omaha. Don't forget to listen to their games. They play at 2:30 today. Carlos Estevez threw 7 pitches. And I'm looking at my roommate, who's a diehard Royals fan. And I look at Dan, and I told him, I go, oh, no. Like, even after 7 pitches, you're like, this is rough. He was throwing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs. This guy's supposed to be throwing like 99. And then his off speed was not even competitive, not even remotely competitive.
He was his velo was like 5 miles per hour lower than it normally is, and it's normally not great.
And also, too, like, this dude had some of the most uncompetitive off-speed pitches I've seen. Once again, not a massive baseball guy, but I know what it's supposed to look like, and it wasn't supposed to look like that. He threw, and I just guess Q didn't have guys ready in the bullpen, and so he just had to let him suffer out there. So tough loss for the Royals on Saturday. Good win yesterday, though. Urseg came in. That's what a closer looks like. He was throwing some heat yesterday. 97 miles an hour. Some good dude. I have the Cubs have Daniel Palencia. Bad loss yesterday for the Cubs because did a bunch of little things wrong. It was ridiculous. I mean, they ended up being a 2-run homer and they missed 2 different tags that would have gotten them out of the inning and given them a shot. But Bregman did hit 2 homers.
Watch the first half of Saturday's game. It looked like the Nationals were a little league team, just running into each other, constantly running into each other in the outfield.
Look, I know that you hate Cubs fans who overreact to games and series and stuff like that, and I'm not trying to be that.
It's opening weekend. Go ahead. You can only judge what's in front of you,
It
right?
didn't look like I thought it would. It didn't look like I thought it would. I thought it would look better to start. That's all I'm going to say. I thought they would play better. Boyd was not good. Imanaga seems like he still hasn't fully figured it out. He looks better than what he was in the second half of the season, but it's still not great.
There's a lot of hitters who were in the World Baseball Classic where I was kind of like, oh, I thought you'd be much further ahead of where you are.
PCA had
now.
PCA had a fine weekend. Bregman had 2 homers yesterday. I was like, hell yeah, that looks great.
Okay.
But yeah, is there any other base? I'm just a Cubs guy. I didn't mean to
take us here.
No, I love that we're here. I love talking about as many sports as possible. Is there any other notable things that happened? I saw Judge had 2 mammoth home runs on the left field line in San Francisco. Man, he would have been a great Giant.
He was going to be that
I know,
one time.
He would have been. He would have been a great Giant. That would have been fun. I mean, it's don't get me wrong. It's great for the sport that or maybe the second most influential and popular player is on the Yankees. You just can't beat Shohei, which, by the way, Shohei is the number 1 selling jersey in the MLB. You want to guess who number 2 is?
Aaron Judge?
Yamamoto.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
They have the influence that they have is absolutely insane. But saw Judge hit 2 homers. He's great. He's awesome. I just like Connor Happer loves guys who throw hard, like in football. Like he just loves a quarterback that's got a great arm. I like big home run hitters. If you're over 6'4" and you hit homers, this is not a hot take, but I just want 9 of those guys on my team. I don't care if they strike out. I don't care. I don't care if they strike out. I just want to see long bombs. So Aaron Judge is awesome. Dude is also awesome. Robin Washington. He's going to join us next. I don't know what we're going to talk about with Robin.
Oh,
I don't really know. Like
the spring game.
I might Cody Rhodes him. What do you want to talk about? We'll just figure it out. We're going to figure it out with Robin Washington, just like you're figuring it out here with us here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Before we get to Robin Washit here, we want to remind you that our Zone Half Off deal is live right now. It is a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Ballard's Black Island on Ontario's Lake of the Woods Canadian fishing adventure. You can grab your crew, head to Morrison, Ontario for a bucket list fishing trip at a fraction of the price. This trip is up to 6 people from May 21st to the 25th, so it's around the beginning of fishing season over there. It includes 4 nights of cabin lodging, 3 guided multi-species fishing, rods, reels, bait, tackle included. Visit 1620thezone.com for all the details. I have not been to the Lake of the Woods, but I actually fish a ton over there in northern Minnesota and Brainerd, Minnesota, which is a couple hours away from Lake of the Woods. I will tell you, they catch a lot of big fish over at Lake of the Woods, so don't forget to look into that if you're interested for what truly is a once-in-a-lifetime fishing opportunity. We go to the Prairie Flower Zone Casino Hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Robin Washit is so kind to join us here on Mondays, as always. Robin, I said in the tease, I don't know what to talk about with you. What do you want to talk about? I mean, the season's over. I mean, it was a season of a lifetime. We've hit all the high notes. You've said all the things. What do you want to do? Do you want to talk football? What do you want to do, Robin?
Well, in a few days here, the next season begins. That's portal season.
Yes.
So there's always adventures and storylines that come along with that.
So I saw a video. It was Jake Bartecki of NCN was interviewing Troy Dannon, and credit to Jake. He just flat out asked Dannon, what's the donor dollars looking like? What are those conversations talking about? Which is crazy to kind of speak now that we could just be so open about that in college sports, about the money flowing in from outsiders. But if I told you a year ago that Troy Dannon was telling people that donors are calling him first to give money to basketball, your reaction would have been what?
No, I mean, yeah, like at the beginning of this whole thing, I would have been surprised, but at the end of it, not surprised whatsoever, just considering the path that this season has been and the momentum that they've gained and the excitement that has really built within the fan base, where people that really never even paid attention to basketball are all in. And, you know, that scene in Oklahoma City, it wasn't just a 98% unforgettable Husker-filled arena, but pretty much anyone of note when it comes to financial support of Nebraska athletics was front and center at that deal, and, you know, soaking it all in. And you could just kind of feel that there was definitely some probably more substantial momentum and support behind Nebraska men's basketball than maybe there'd ever been at that moment. And so now, you know, we got to see how much of those checks actually cash and, you know, how much are actually written. But it certainly feels like Fred Hoiberg and his staff will have more resources from a roster budget standpoint than ever before. And, you know, with what they're theoretically set to return, now you're not talking about just completely buying a new roster. Like, you're supplementing a team that should already be pretty good now with the money to go get elite day one starter level pieces out of the portal. So it'll be an interesting few 2 weeks when that portal opens on April 7th, just how fast and furious and what kind of caliber of talent Nebraska's shooting for, you know, once the portal officially gets underway.
You are a sneaky son of a gun, and Doc, how do I say, I'm so terrible at this. How do I say his first name? Bongo Doc? Bongo Doc?
Oh, Bangot?
Yeah.
Bangot Doc.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. From Lincoln, he played at Southeast, went to Colorado. He's been there for 3 years. He's now entered the transfer portal. You quote tweeted eyes over Doc and his kind of hinting at maybe some interest from Nebraska. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, he was on Nebraska's radar out of high school, but, you know, they just felt that he wasn't quite ready yet to go full-blown offer. And I think there was a thought that he was going to go the prep school route and, you know, go to a link prep or something like that, and then spend a year as a post-grad before going to college, and then they were going to kind of revisit it. Well, good on Colorado. They took the risk and threw out an early offer, and he took it and ended up developing into a 7-foot above the rim shot blocking, freak of an athlete that is already starting to get some NBA talk. And so now that when you hit the portal, Lincoln kid that played at Southeast is good friends with Braden Frager. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm sure Nebraska's going to check this out. Problem is that because of his skill set and, the NBA potential that he has, I'm just curious kind of what kind of price tag that's going to be with a guy like that. And there's going to be plenty of competition for his services, not beyond just, coming back to play for his home state school. So I would say one to watch.
Okay.
I think that there's a degree of mutual interest there. Obviously being a Lincoln kid and having friends on the team and having a pre-existing relationship with, Fred Hoiberg and Nate Lenzer from, his high school days. But, when it comes down to him or any other target you hear floated around for Nebraska, the number one word you go back to is fit. Like, yeah, sure, Nebraska has more money to deal with, but they are not going to go play the game of just trying to assemble all the best available players they can get and hope that they come together as a team. They tried to do that the first few years, and it was a total disaster.
Yeah.
The reason that they are where they are and what this season was what it was, because they had a very specific plan with how they're going to assemble this roster, not just finding pieces that fit together on the court, but finding the right type of people that have made this program what it is off of the floor as well. And so there's a lot more than goes into it, that this guy's a good player. He has connections in Nebraska. They should go pay whatever they need to pay him, because they got to make sure that they devote their money to keep the guys like Price and Braden and the like, to have that core nucleus back. But then also, they've got to find, guys that fit what they want their system to be, with the big holes are Rink Mast and Sam Hoiberg. Well, finding a 3-point shooting 5-man, that's hard to do, and it costs a lot of money. So you got to kind of pick how you divvy out those resources, even if you do have more money to work with. So again, there's a lot of variables. Long story short here, there's a lot of variables involved here beyond just the obvious reasons why a guy like Bangot would make sense. But again, I've kind of one of those guys to just put on the back burner and keep an eye on, and just kind of see exactly what type of competition and what the price tag is, and how Nebraska views him fitting what they need and what they have coming back.
Local transfer portal news to note as well. You retweeted it when it first came out, so credit to you for that. Amari Bynum going to return back to Ohio State. He obviously was a big interest from Husker fans on Twitter who wanted to render the former Omaha Bryan player to Nebraska. Let's go ahead and talk about the transfer portal in general, right? Because you bring up the fit and everything like that, and you're totally right. I mean, the culture and how many times have we heard Fred talk about Emmanuel Vanderbilt and Derek Walker and all these guys who really laid the foundation. Sam would be included in that conversation as well. But I'm just curious from a macro perspective, do you have any read on like what the market is going to look like for certain positions this transfer portal cycle? We see it in football where, we're getting to the point where certain archetypes of players or certain position of players are getting more money than others. And we kind of see the DN market went up and the quarterback market went up, but the wide receiver market and running back market kind of stayed the same. Do you have a read on that? Are point guards going to be highly valuable? Is it going to be big men, 7-footers, wing? Just any sort of insight on what a basketball transfer portal market might look like.
View it like this: point guards and elite level bigs are like the quarterbacks and rush ends or left tackles in the portal. Like, they are the hardest to find, and they're going to cost the most money. So that's why when I talk about how Nebraska is going to prioritize the portal, as much as they're bringing back, they need to replace the two most expensive positions on the market through the portal. And so I think that's, where a guy like Ben got back, he brings a lot to the table. Like, I don't know if he fits what they need in terms of finding another Rink Mast. And, then you're losing not just one point guard, you're losing your top two ball handlers in Sam and Jamarcus. So I think that's where I go back to the fit and the plan, because Nebraska feels like they have a pretty good formula in place now. And, if you can find ways to not just replicate what you had at those specific, high price positions, but also try to upgrade, that's where you got to be, really smart with your player identification, and then, how much you're actually willing to spend, because, those are not going to be cheap positions. I mean, you're probably looking at, for the best of the best, being over $2 million in some cases. So it's a different world, and there's so much money involved here that you, especially if you're a school like Nebraska, you can't afford to miss, especially at those spots.
Robin, you are the best. We really appreciate your insight. Don't worry. Next week we'll talk to you about spring football. Don't worry. We'll hold that. We'll hold that off for just a little bit. But appreciate you. What'd you say?
I said plenty of time for all that.
Oh, plenty of time. Plenty of time indeed. Robin, appreciate you as always. We will talk to you next Monday here on Middays with Matt.
Sounds good, man. See you later.
See you, Robin. I cut him off too early. That was rude of me.
Stepping all over him.
No, I wasn't. I just didn't hear him. I was
Just
doing,
at the end there. Yeah.
I was doing my outro and he was still talking. I didn't know what Robin was saying, but great insights. I totally agree with Robin. Listen, it's very interesting to me, like how the college football market didn't really fully like turn out the way the NFL market has. There's been some like consistencies, right? There's been like some mirroring, right, between the quarterbacks being super expensive and edge rushers being super expensive, but there is a little bit of a difference between how much secondary guys are going and guards are going in college compared to what they're doing in the NFL. Same thing with the wide receiver rooms. I'm very interested to see what that contrast is going to look like from the NBA to college basketball, because I think it's going to be so different. Because in the NBA, it's all about wing play. You want 6'8" guys, 6'7" dudes who can guard on the other end, but also hit threes. Like that is what sells in the league, right? And smaller floor general point guards aren't really that big of a necessity anymore in the NBA. It just isn't. They're important, but they're not at the top of the list. And honestly, too, like 7-footers and height is important in the NBA, but it's not at like the top of the list. In college basketball, especially seeing how these Final Four teams are built, it is a top necessity. So seeing the contrast between what the markets are going to look like in college ball and the NBA is really going to reflect how different the games completely are. And hey, good for floor general point guards. I don't know how much of a future you're going to have in the league being 6'2" and running around and commanding an offense, but in the college basketball world that we live in now, you're going to get paid a lot of money, young man. So congratulations for that. Congratulations to us all. We're going to find out what we get to watch tonight from Josh Odson coming up here on Middays.
show today.
I like what we put out there. It wasn't perfect, but
No,
you know what?
It's when is it ever?
We won more than we lost.
You tell me when we have a perfect show.
Okay.
Maybe I don't think it'll ever occur. But I know opening day was on Friday, but we touched all the bases today. We really did. We talked football. We talked MLB. I had some Cubs takes. Good God. You had Braves takes. We talked about Carlos Estevez today. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Feels like more like a morning show conversation.
It does. The randomness, Oh, well, the Kansas City Royal fan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They did have a Carlos Estevez conversation as well. Everybody's talking about Carlos Estevez. He ended up in a boot. I would too. I'm going to be real with you right now. After that performance, I'd put myself in a boot too.
Mm-hmm.
What are we watching tonight?
Well, we are watching women's basketball. They round out their Final Four tonight. 2 teams are in, 2 more to go. We'll find out the winners on the ESPN family of networks. 6 o'clock, number 1 versus number 2. Texas takes on Michigan. Winner of that game plays UCLA in the Final Four. That's at 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN. And right after that, number 3 TCU against number 1 South Carolina. Winner gets undefeated UConn.
Whoa.
In the Final Four.
They won 54 games in a row.
That's a lot.
Gino knows how to coach. Hot take.
He also knows how to promote his sport better than the people whose job it is to promote women's basketball.
He was going belt to ass to everybody, being like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, he might be the only coach where he really lays out his complaints and everybody collectively goes, you go, Gino. Yeah. You tell him.
You would think that every March the NCAA would be tired of exposing their ass to the world when it comes to the sport of women's basketball.
That you would think.
Hey, let's maybe just do it exactly the same as the men's tournament.
My question is simply this.
Then no one can go viral for ranting against us.
I know he's the coach, but just ask him what to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They just the guy's done it all.
Hey, we're doing a little exit survey. Happy Final Four weekend.
Gino, what do you think?
Just want to know where you think we could improve.
Thank you.
Just send that the second week of April every year.
Done. And just do it. They have so much money. Just do it. Just execute it. Good God. All right. What
3
else?
NBA games on Peacock tonight. Sixers Heat at 6, Bulls Spurs at 7. And then a potential NBA Finals preview, Pistons Thunder at 8:30.
Oh my God, David Stern is rolling right now. Oh my God. Potential NBA Finals preview.
You need to Kings, the Detroit Pistons.
Oh my God.
NHL Network has Flyers Islanders at 6. FS1 baseball doubleheader tonight. Pirates Reds at 5:40, followed by Giants Padres at 8:40. Some guy named Kevin Kugler on the call.
Oh, never heard of him.
Of that one. And finally on Amazon Prime, Rory McIlroy, The Masters Wait. The documentary chronicles McIlroy's triumphant quest to conquer the Masters and become just the 6th professional golfer in history to achieve a career Grand Slam.
They actually released a clip of that, and it was him talking about him and Bryson. And it was very, very interesting what they were talking
Jim Nance
about
hasn't watched him swing.
What?
They're like, what do you think of Bryson's swing this year? And he goes, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen him play golf this year. Just my kid showed me a couple YouTube videos.
You know what? I'm going to be real with you. He should say that. He should, because that way Bryson will stop playing on that godforsaken tour.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how.
Dog.
Winners.
Dog.
Winners.
Dog.
Winners.
Dog.
Winners.
Dog.
Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you gotta love dogs, right?
Gotta love the dogs. Always love the dogs. That's why we always need the dogs. I'm going to be real with you. This is where we get into the dog days of dog of the day.
Dog days of picking dogs.
Dude, NBA, NHL, MLB, I can't, I would never put money on any of this. I just wouldn't. I'm going to be real with you.
All right, so tell me where to put my money.
I don't know where to tell you to put your money.
And I'll fade you.
I now have to start doing some real research before we, because I did it before, but you do it off of intuition and research. Now I'm just fully going off of people's picks. Let's say the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're going to beat the New York Islanders today. -117. Why wouldn't they? Sit the kid. All right. There we go. That was the show. Great middays with Matt. The crossover with USC's coming up next.